What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is A2D Wednesday nights. Guess what tomorrow is? We're going to talk about it.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! You're flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by FanUp, and FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NBA contests, daily MLB contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D, and you get $50 right at sign up. You can download FanUp right on the Apple Store. As always, I'm Tom Arnone, Ralph Del Vecchio, Frank Vespi, Greg Milakovic, Noah Eaton, Ryan Brodo. Everybody out there, welcome in. We got a lot to talk about. Sixers second round series preview. Most likely going to be Boston, unless there's some kind of collapse there in that series, which the Hawks would have to win 3 in a row for that to happen. I don't see that happening. Maybe they can take it to 7, but we'll talk about what's up next for the Sixers. Joel Embiid's knee again. We'll have to discuss. So we'll get into the Sixers at the latter end of this show because obviously we got a big week coming up for them next week. They start Monday. So here we are, baby. And second topic will be our NFL draft bold predictions. Everybody's got some. People are going to Will Levis and Anthony Richardson bold predictions, etc. So it's be exciting to talk about some of that stuff in the second part of the show. Our main topic at hand, it is Christmas Eve. It is the NFL draft eve. So we got some presents hopefully to open up tomorrow and some good ones. And it's our main topic, our final Eagles draft predictions. Ties into our poll question, brought to you by Bijan's Bread. They're located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. They're home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets. Number one meatball in the state of New Jersey. You mentioned HUD Radio, you get 10% off your order. Go check them out, Bijan's Bread, Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Our poll question for tonight is the Eagles will trade one of their first-round draft picks. Do you agree or disagree? And you can let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Everything stays up after the fact. You can go watch us anytime, anywhere in the world, right? Anywhere in the world. You can be on a boat, just enjoying us. Join us on iTunes, if that's what you like. I disagree. And I know, and I'll say this because this is where, no shot at you, Rye, but this is where the nerds start with the trade and everything talk. I can't.
Trade?
I got two first round picks, and the only way I'm dealing one would be if Will Anderson drops and I go up and get him. That's the only time I'll see Howie wheeling and dealing. When you got 2 first round picks and you have 12 next year already, 13, 14 in that range, you're not looking to add picks on for the future. Would you like some more picks maybe in this draft? Sure. I got that. But you're trying to hit stuff. You know what I mean? You're not trying to acquire more, praying you hit on more. Right? When you got 2 first-round picks, your goal is to leave this draft with 2 A-caliber players, 2 Pro Bowl caliber players down the road. Right? That's what you're looking for. So unless it's going up for a special player, I'm not trading anything. So I don't know if I'm supposed to talk for the Eagles or talk for myself. So I'm going to talk for myself because I'm not in the draft room, nor am I going to act like it, but I feel like I'm a pretty smart guy. So unless I'm going up for what I consider a top-level player on my draft board, Will Anderson, Bijan, if you feel like you got to go up for him. I'm not going up for Jalen Carter. And why I say they're not going to go back, guys, is because if you look at the point system, it doesn't give you at 30 this huge return. It's not going to give you a gigantic return. It's not, you're not walking away with 3 picks because you traded 30. You know what I mean? You probably get a third, right? You'll probably get maybe get a team second and 5th, maybe for a team to come back into the first round, right? Somewhere in that range, right? You're not getting a ton. That's I got to do this. No, if you got a guy on the board that can be impactful, why am I moving that? So that's how I look at this whole situation. The only way you're trading up or trading anything is impact guys that you feel like dropped, right? A bunch of quarterbacks go early, Anderson drops, and you feel like, okay, that's my number one player on my board. Then I'm going to give things up to go get that guy. The trading out just irks me because you're playing with fire when you're trading out. You are like I never believed like I got move back for and acquire. Grow up, Peter Pan. When I'm opening Christmas presents back in my prime, right? I'm looking for the big shit. I'm not looking for a bunch of little rap goddamn toys and gadget spinners. We're looking for impact gifts, right? Simple as that. That's all we're looking for. So I'm not going back 5 picks because I assume maybe a guy will still be there. You knock it off because if somebody can come up and jump you, you're playing with fire in a situation like that. The only trades that we made in the first round when you got 2 goddamn first round picks is going up and getting somebody. That's it. Or stay 10-30, draft the best players on the goddamn board, and let's go to bed and let's feel good about ourselves. We don't need to talk about and get all jacked up over the 4th round of the NFL draft. Like nobody gives a shit. All right, I don't care if those players end up being special. Then I clap my hands and say home run. That's it. I don't look to do that. So I disagree that they're not trading any of their picks.
Ralphie, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. I disagree as well. I think we stand pat. And I agree to your point, Tommy, to the point where I think the only thing that we can see happening tomorrow is if one of those top dogs that are, top 5 guys, something crazy happens where 4 straight quarterbacks go or 4 quarterbacks go off the board and you have, one of those guys drop and now you have, some ammo to play with and you can move up. But I think to what they do tomorrow, I think they stand pat. I think they stay at 10. I think they stay at 30. And then at 30, at that point, if there is a dog still out there, right, or a guy that dropped down to 30, you select them, or you just go best player available at 30, and you figure out the rest. But I think they stay pat. I don't think they move at all. I think they stay. I think they stay at 10 or 30. So I'll go disagree to the poll for me.
Yeah, you might find this surprising, but I disagree to the poll also.
Jesus Christ. I mean, now you guys are all disagreeing.
That means we're moving. Yo, we might get a top.
I shake this whole thing out on agree because I feel like this is going to be a dry jock fest of we're trading 45 picks. We acquired 72. How do we get 72 of them? And I was completely thrown off here.
Ryan disagreed to a trade poll. That means we're getting a top 5.
Well, Ralphie, maybe I'm doing this so it plays right into my hand. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, listen, I said a couple weeks ago, the Celtics, they're nearly unbeatable. Ever since I've said that, they might lose the Atlanta Hawks in round 1. So maybe I'm doing like the Greg jinx.
The reverse psychology.
Like maybe that's my game plan all along.
You see my fantasy baseball jinxes right now. Holy smokes.
After today's news, I hear you. Listen, I'm all for a good trade, right? Like everyone loves a good trade. But to me, I find like today's like epiphany by the Eagles media, like, oh my God, he's working up moves to try and move up for Jalen Carter. Yeah, it's called his job. Like, guys, like he's going to try and find avenues for every move possible. Like, that's what GMs do, right? Like, he's going to find avenues in case somebody starts dropping a Will Anderson or a Carter or whatever. It's like, oh, well, here's a way we can do that. Here's a way we can move back if we want to move back. Like, that's just what GMs do. So and also here's the thing that we have to remind ourselves with. And like, I get it. It's like, it's draft season. The reports are fun and all that. But any reports nowadays, like, especially this close, especially by like the local media, it's like, oh, well, I talked to a source within the building. Well, odds are if the source within the building is telling you that information, it's for a freaking reason. There's some gain for that. They want it to get out, whether it's to skew other teams into thinking that, oh, they actually want that person. Like they're not going to play their hand, right? Like how many times I'll use the AJ Brown thing last year. Nobody knew that was coming. Nobody, right? There was not a peep, a rumor, anything about that. There wasn't like anything.
Biggest surprise of the draft last year. Biggest surprise.
So like if we could get Will Anderson at like 7, great, right? Like I'm not going to complain because I think that guy's going to be really good, right? If we can go out and we can trade a couple picks back and we still get somebody good, like fine. But I've seen too much of like, oh, well, I don't want this guy at 10, but I want him at 14 or I want him at 16. If you're going to like put that qualifier on it, then I'm sorry, you just don't like him then you don't like him at 10, because I understand like, oh, well, you have value. If we're going to play semantics with like value of later picks in the weekend, like most likely a Saturday or a late Friday pick, if that's what it's going to take for you to like somebody, whoever they take in the first round, then I'm sorry, you don't like them, right? Like if you want Bijan Robinson, you'll take him at 10 or 16. You won't just take him at 16. If you want Nolan Smith, you'll take him anywhere, right? Like unless you're trading off to like 2 to get him, then I'm like, what are you doing? I think we could be absolutely fine at 10. I expect that to happen. 30 is a whole nother thing, but also like I don't want to trade out of 30 because you can still get somebody. Unless that's for like a Buda Baker where you're trading 30 for like Buda Baker and like a fourth, like fine, right? But that's a whole nother.
Oh yeah. You're giving me a player that I know, and I know he, can play to a certain level, right? And he's accomplished. And I sign up for those all day. We talk about that all the time. I'll trade you 100 big league prospects right now for Ohtani. I'll give you my whole farm system for a guy like Ohtani because I know what he is, right? So all the other guys, no disrespect to him, they're unknown at the professional level. It's good for every guy that's going to be drafted tomorrow night. I mean, every guy is unknown at the next level, no matter what the experts got to tell you. Okay, they're unknown. I can tell you how good Bijan is. Other guys can tell you how good Bijan is, but nobody knows it for sure. Nothing's a certainty when you talk about draft picks. Nothing is. There's a lot that has to sort of go right here for whoever we pick.
Yeah, nobody's got a crystal ball, right? Like we can project like, oh, Bijan will be really good here. It's like, okay, yeah, we agree with that. Or, oh, Will Anderson's better than Jalen Carter, or now the Tyree Wilson could go 2 to the Houston Texans because he's a better fit. Like just get.
Well, this is why there's so many misses, guys. Yes. There's misses every year because teams stray away from their boards, right? Like I'm on a board strayer. And I think I've proven it over my time at A2D. I'm not telling you I'm perfect, but I'm telling you, if you drafted every guy that I probably told you to draft in the first round, you got a pretty good ball club. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and act like I know the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th, and I'm going to give value late, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to act like that. But I feel like if I can sit on my couch with no insight outside of watching college football, right, Greg? Because you're a big college football watcher too. And I can say, hey, that guy's a problem, right? Without any background information, without a sit down, without me seeing him at workouts, and I can do it, just tells you that these guys make it harder than it is. And when you said when you don't hear something or you hear too much of something, that means that's probably not going to happen, right? Like it's just usually how that goes. Like this is definitely going to happen. If Jalen Carter's on the board at 10, the Eagles take him. Well, what if Jalen Carter's on the board at 10, Bijan's on the board at 10, and somebody else at that level is on the board at 10? Is that a guarantee to take Jalen Carter? No. Bad GMs go out there and do handshake goddamn deals on draft night. No, why would you do that? No smart general manager is saying, unless your number one pick is leaking that information to you. Nobody is.
The number one report literally last year, right, at the start of draft day all the way up until the pick, it was not Jordan Davis. It was Hamilton. Hamilton, all signs point to Hamilton. Guess what? Hamilton was on the board and we didn't take him. Right? So it's like I understand. It's like, oh, here's a new name. It's got to be true because it was 2 minutes more recent than the last report. Nobody has any freaking idea. Howie said it himself when they did the Jalen Hurts press conference. No one has a damn clue. And honestly, I don't know if they know what their priority is, right? They probably have plan A, plan B, plan C. It's about what happens in front of them that's going to dictate what they do.
For sure. If everybody's gone, and then go ahead now, if everybody's gone that they really like, that's when a trade back happens.
Yes.
That's when it takes place. But if there's a guy that's the top 3 or 4 guy on your board, you hand in the card and you go to goddamn bed until 30 comes around.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, I like Branch Umberto. Sorry, I like Branch, but I mean, at least Buda's proven. Like, I don't even think I have to give up 30 for Buda, to be completely honest with people. So, I didn't want to keep it real on how picks go. He's not to the level of A.J. Brown. So, I don't got to go toss him first around, right? He's not.
And you got to pay him, too.
And you got to pay him. So,
If they want to give us a third with it, you know what I'm saying? Like they want to send a third our way. Like, okay, maybe if you're sending assets with Buddha.
Well, I think we would be the one sending the third to them. Like, I don't think Buddha Baker is he needs to be a first round pick. You know what I mean? I don't think he has to. I just don't believe it. Maybe a second, right? Because you said they got to pay him, and he's not like great. He's good. He's good. There's a difference from great and good. Buddha Baker's good. That's all. It's good. And I like him more because I feel like he doesn't like Jonathan Gannon. So go ahead, Noah.
Well, speaking of good, we have a lot of good football players on this team. And, of course, I think that, it goes without saying. I mean, we made a Super Bowl run last year. So, of course, we have, a pretty well-established group. Look, I think they're going to take Bijan Robinson at number 10. However, I do agree to the poll. I think there's going to be a little bit of moving and shaking here. I think they're going to try to trade up from number 30. I think they're going to try to trade up to the middle of that first round and take an offensive tackle if there's one there that they like, whether it be Skoronski or Paris Johnson. Okay. I mean, watch out for that. Because
so you think Bijan
they got to get high.
I mean, Lane Johnson is still a damn good football player, but he's getting a little long in the tooth. And offensive tackle is a critical position in a pass happy league these days. So don't be surprised if we come away Thursday night with a game-changing running back in Bijan Robinson, knowing we have a lot of other needs already filled, and plus with Miles Sanders going to Carolina, and we're getting older on the offensive line. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Paris Johnson or Pete Skoronski become a Philadelphia Eagle on Thursday night.
Well, I mean, you're going up from 30 to in the teens.
Yeah, you got to get to 15 for that. At lowest, in my mind.
Yeah,
because I think both those guys are in play at 10 potentially.
I mean, you're talking about your first shit. I mean, maybe even your second. You know what I mean? It's going to take some things to get up into the teens. But again, the Noah's point, if you're going up and getting a guy that you feel is a can't miss guy, and you leave the first round with two all-pro down the road caliber players, you go to bed sleeping.
That's a major home run.
Yeah, I mean, I think Paris Hilton stinks, but that's a story for another day.
Sadly, he's the only one I like.
He might be good. I don't know. I'm like anti-Ohio State. I'm like anti-Ohio State with everything.
I hear you. I should be as well, but no, I'm.
Well, I mean, to your point, Orlando Pace out of Ohio State. I mean, he was good, not great.
Terrible.
I mean,
Orlando Pace had like 30 years in the league. Orlando Pace was like a top left tackle for like 30 years.
It was pretty damn good. I mean, I don't want to say great.
Pretty damn good. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Concentrate Lion. Great to me is a guy that's going to be a Hall of Famer. So that's what great to me is. Good, very good. They're different calibers. I'm not like, I didn't know he's a 3-time all-pro because their team stinks. So I mean, I'm not saying I never said like Buddha can't play. I just don't think when you're about to sign a new deal as well that's going to get you a first. I don't see it because I don't think it's to the impact of like an AJ. I don't think it's a very good player though. So I mean, I don't know what else to say. Go ahead, Greg.
No, I'm going to agree as well, but it's 30 to me. It's not 10. I think you sit at 10. You take the best player available. Jalen Carter, Bijan, right? Whoever you think, as long as it makes sense to me. And what is making sense to me, right? I mean, it's obviously they're going to do what they do. But I think it's 30. I just think there's other teams, especially depending on how the quarterbacks play out. 30 because of that extra year becomes a really desired pick there at the end of the first round, depending on how the board drops out, right, ultimately. And I just, to your point, Tommy, you're not going to get a lot for it, right? In terms of like the cheat sheet, right? You know what I mean? The value chart. You're not going to get a lot for it. But I think if Howie could secure himself maybe another third or a fourth or fifth, because they have a third round and they go to 2/7. So I think if Howie can somehow get a couple picks, and I understand they have $15.75 million next year.
Couldn't you just trade the second?
You could
and acquire some of those missing
absolutely.
rounds too. No, that's like throwing devil's advocate away, right?
100%. But I think if the board starts to play out to where like their guy that they were looking for at 30 isn't there, I think 30 could be the move pick, and it could go either way. They could move up to go get somebody, and they could move out to get somewhere in them to get another middle round pick, so they're not like almost sitting on their hands. I just feel like Howie isn't a good sitter on the hands guy, right? In draft day, right? Like Howie's like, oh, I always got to be doing something, right? And Ryan, I think you hit on the net too, like with the moving up from 10. The more and more it gets talked about, the more and more I'm almost like it's not happening. They're staying put.
Yeah.
They're staying put at 10. But you're right. I think you have to do your due diligence in the event, Tommy, as you mentioned too, Will Anderson drops, right? I don't think with the and I don't want to call it baggage, but I don't think with the baggage of Jalen Carter, you move up to get Jalen Carter.
No.
You let him drop.
Yes.
Will Anderson, you move up to get. He's probably the only guy I move up to get.
He is the only guy I move up to get.
Will Anderson, because all those other guys I don't think are top 10 picks to me.
Yeah, 100%.
They're going to go top 10, but I don't think they are.
If you take out the quarterbacks, Will Anderson's the best player in this draft.
100%.
100%.
And Bijan's
go number one.
And Bijan's 2 to me. So, like, if you want me to,
Jalen, but yes, Bijan would be 3.
Baggage matters, right?
100%, yes.
Jerome Brown riding cars fast matters, right? There's a lot of things that can come out, and that's not a shot. That's just facts. There's a lot of problems that can occur with that. So, again, for me, not meeting him, I can't speak on him, right? But I can speak on the other two. And Will Anderson's a goddamn winner, right? And he's so impactful. Like we talk about how impactful Bijan will be. Will Anderson, you're gonna say, well, Tom, how many snaps does he get? It's not a backup offensive tackle here. All right. We talk about another defensive end that has the pass rush abilities he does, and his run stopping abilities as well, and the leadership side that he brings.
Yep.
There's a lot that comes with that. So, if he drops, I'm right there with you. But nobody else am I flying up the board that excited to get, because in reality, this isn't a loaded, deep draft. It's not. Just want to riddle the people that. It's not. So it's even harder to hit.
And the other side of it, too, is we talked about all leading up to it. 10 is such a luxury pick for us, right? So let's sit at 10 and let's take our luxury, whoever it is, right? Whoever falls to us at 10, who are sitting there at 10, is our luxury. And let's show it off.
That's Greg. You just hit it right on the head again, because it's like we already kind of traded up. It happened like we traded up a year ago, but it's like we're not supposed to be at 10, right? It's like unless something that is like a can't miss, which again, like we would say is Will Anderson, but even then, like we talked about earlier, Tom, like nobody has any idea, right? Like we think and we're most confident in the Will Anderson being like the one guy that would be most deserving of like a trade up pick. But it's like you're already here, right? Like this isn't our only pick. And I think it's just so weird, because I saw that report and I wasn't like mad. I didn't have a reaction, like I said, like oh, they're working the trade up, because I'm like, oh, of course they are. But this is one of those drafts where I'm just like unless it's Will Anderson, like why?
Well, that's why it is. That's why it is. Because they feel like it's going to go quarterback heavy early. And if it does, they're going to attack. Because they probably feel the same way I feel about this draft, that there isn't that many can't misses.
Sure.
There is not. He's one of the can't misses, and Bijan, in my opinion, is one of the can't misses. Outside of that, there are a lot of question marks. I mean, take away the quarterbacks. Like, I think the 2 quarterbacks are very good, or will be very good. But besides those guys, like, it's not deep. It's not deep. No. There's some guys I like, you know what I mean, that you like, but aren't like, well, this guy's going to change our franchise. For the next 5 years. And both Will and Bijan have that ability. Both have the ability. So, I know people out there going to be, hey, you want another defensive end, Tom? No, I'm not saying. I just want great players. I don't care what position they play. Great players that can get on the field day one are guys that I look for. You guys can all, not you guys, everybody out there. And first off, you guys can all riddle me and keep reading me all the Ohio State players that play in the NFL. I know. I'm anti-Ohio State, though. All right? I mean, I can be anti-Ohio State and still admit that there's really good players that have come from there. I'm just anti-Ohio State. Mm-hmm. If I'm going up front, I'm going up front in different schools, in my opinion. That's all. There's been some really great skill position players coming out recently from Ohio State. So nobody's going to debate that. But I don't know. And Nick Mangold, it's 40 years ago. Nick Mangold played. Somebody in chat. Nick Mangold time. It was like 35 years ago. Nick played. What are we talking about? So good.
I haven't seen Yusuf in a while. What up, brother?
Well, here you go. You have a Washington fan begging us not to take Bijan. That's a tell you.
Well, a lot of people are begging you not to tell them because a lot of people understand we're different. Mm-hmm. We're different. We're not a team that lost a ton that's here. We're a team that's ready to win and go to another Super Bowl. So it becomes even more of a luxury. Yeah, I'm really going to be interested to see where they go tomorrow night. It's very weird to me. They sort of played it out a little bit like they would they love him. And that's strange to me too. This whole thing's been a little strange. Guy's been a little too honest. You know what I mean? I expect to be at like a car dealership, like a used one when it comes to these things. Where everybody's lying to you. But like they've been a little too like frisky and honest in pressers. Like when did we it's usually like the CIA, like they keep everything hush hush, right? But I might be wrong, but I feel like this year has been like our shit don't stink. Like, well, we can say whatever we want because we do a great job at this. That's how it came off to me, and I don't mind it. Calm and confident, right? Be great. It's just been weird the way he's going about it.
Are you talking about how Howie's going about it, Tom?
Yeah, it's just very honest.
Oh, he has
very open.
Which is got me so nervous for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what?
Come on, dress me, Greg.
What team are we taking? Right? Like, all right,
yeah.
This guy
now. Like,
right.
we just re-signed their whole secondary. Now we're gonna draft Witherspoon.
Greg, come on, dress me. Come on, dress me. That's what Howie's talking like. Come on, dress me, baby. I got a lot of
smells tight.
I'm an open book.
Tight end at 10.
So weird. So weird. Usually these guys are so close, they keep everything in house. They don't tell you they really like somebody. Yeah. He's like five guys. I mean, he pretty much circled the board on his top five in my opinion.
He really did.
Well, and it's so weird because nobody, and again, as much as people want to go on the, whether it's a mock draft, whether it's people on TV shows, they want to say, oh, I know exactly what Howie's going to do. How freaking can you? Right? It's not like past years. And again, this isn't a top 10 in the draft type team. In case anyone forgets, we went to the Super Bowl last year, right? So we have no business being up here.
I didn't forget.
It took Howie 17,000 years to draft a decent linebacker.
We hope.
We don't know.
We hope. Yeah,
we hope. I mean, I think he's very good, but I mean,
I know, right? But
still got to play and see it.
I just think this is one of those years where because there's no extreme glaring needs on our roster, we have no idea where they can go. An immediate starter somewhere that's that's not going to play for a couple years. I don't know what the hell, right? So we're just going to sit back and be like, okay, Howie, just don't Jalen Rager us. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking.
Oh God,
ask for that night too. So
if we draft Van Ness tomorrow at 10, I'll cry.
That's Rager to me. That's Rager.
I'll cry tomorrow.
What do you say, Frankie?
I mean, I'm gonna complete the sweep in the bottom row. I'm also going to agree to the poll, but I kind of agree more to what Greg is saying with trading out of the 30th pick. I think you can get more of a haul out of it because we don't have any picks from the 4th to the 6th round, so I think we're going to try to find a way to acquire some picks down the line for day 3. But you also take a look at where the top. I'm going to say the top 6 are going to go because we don't know what Houston's going to do at 2. They might trade out. They might draft somebody on defense and not one of the quarterbacks. You also take a look at Arizona. What are they going to do at 3? It's just a lot of question marks also on the top of that draft board, and maybe Howie might strike and trade up. We don't know. I mean, lots of smoke screen going on, but I agree. But I'm leaning towards that 30 more than I do 10. I think we'll be comfortable at 10. I think we're going to find one of our guys there at 10. Hopefully, I'm in the pro Bijan camp, so I want Bijan at 10. If he's not there, there are plenty of other good options there in that position. So That's
I
right.
think it's
I would love for Arizona to go Paris Johnson. I'm just gonna say, I may or may not have.
I would definitely like.
I saw something today where Murray was he's telling the front office, "Hey, I want this guy. I want Paris, right? I want one of the offensive linemen." So let's see if they actually do it.
Who's
If
saying that?
they go,
Who's saying that?
Murray, Kyler's been saying
Get off the video. Get off the video
I
games
want
first.
this offensive lineman.
Yeah, get off the video games first. Then we'll
because he
listen.
knows he needs it.
Yeah, 100%. Yo, if they go offensive lineman at 3, I don't know. I might have to trade up. I might jump 6 spots. I might.
I just don't.
Is it possible
I
that
don't
Aaron,
trade 30 to get like to fill in the gaps from 4th to 6th round. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trading the 30th pick of the goddamn draft to fill gaps. Like in a draft.
But it all depends on if their guy is there at 32, because I know people.
Well, there's going to be a guy there.
I know there's going to be a guy there, but is it going to be their guy that they want?
But they should have.
I know,
but Frank, they should have about 5 guys. They should have 4 or 5 of their guys, right? If they're just honing in on one person and saying, "Oh, we need this guy to be here at 30," then I think they're doing the job incorrectly, right? Like they could have rankings, like obviously, like who their favorite is, but they should have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D.
Well, let me ask you a question: Is their favorites going to be better from the 4th to the 6th round than it is 30? Probably not. So, I mean, that's where, not you, Frank. I'm not attacking you. I'm saying this is why I don't do it. That's dry jock shit. That's analytic bullshit. Oh, well, I'll acquire enough in, and then I have more chances to hit. No, if you're good at your job, you hit 10, 30, I'll see you on Broad. That's how it works. That if you're great at what you do, you go hit, night, and I'll tell the rest of the world, I don't need to pick nothing else. You know, we're so generous here in Philadelphia that you guys can take the rest. Just give me a little bit more for next year. You know what I mean? We're good. If I walked away with like Bijan and give me another name that could be there at 30.
Brian Breesy. Brian Breesy.
Yeah, Brian
sounds like
Breesy, baby.
Where's Brian Breesy from?
From Clemson.
Yeah.
He's not a defensive lineman. That's who I want at 30. That's
All right,
no, I'll go with the guy I mentioned.
Is Breesy the white guy?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'm out.
No,
I'm out. I've seen him play. He's slow. He's slow to me. He's slow to me.
Ojulari. BJ Ojulari.
He just sounds better like he can play. This sounds like a better player. And
my God.
This sounds better. But you know, okay, say Branch falls to 30, right? So we'll use Branch.
Hey,
right.
Run that card up.
You go Bijan and Branch.
You're
don't give a shit.
Yeah, you're
I don't care what I'm picking in the 4th and 6th round. You can take the 4th and 6th round from me every year for 10 and 30. Give me 10. Roger, call Philadelphia, Raj, because you can take the 4th and 6th round and spread them out throughout the league. Just give me 10 and 30 every year. Every year. Actually, I don't need any more picks. Just give me 10 and 30 every year, and we're good. Yeah. We're going to be competitive.
What would you guys rather have? Gibbs at 30, who, by the way, here's the other thing at 30 that people have to keep in mind. You're getting an additional year of him. When you talk about, hey, you have guys on rookie contracts, you don't have to re-up them. Well, that 30th pick is very vital because unlike the 2nd round where you only get 4, this is one where you get 5. Would you rather have Gibbs or an additional 3rd and 5th?
Gibbs.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm taking Bijan at 10. So
yeah.
Say Bijan's taking it 4. Say Bijan's taking it 4.
I hear you. Yes. No, I take it.
If I left with Carter and Gibbs, I'm happy as a pig in shit.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, I'll make it clear.
If I left with Jackson Smith and Jigba and Gibbs, I'm good.
Yeah, Gibbs is not like a consolation prize and a goddamn participation trophy compared to Bijan. Like you know what I mean? Like Gibbs is really good. And I think he's sort of getting like he's because we're all Bijan'd up. Yeah. That it's sort of like, Gibbs.
The side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I got no problem with Carter and Gibbs. Like you can take the rest of my picks. Good.
I just think from like day one, since like everybody's been doing the prospect stuff, it's been Bijan down our throat for the Eagles. You know what I mean? And then when you hear Gibbs, it's like, I really don't want that. But I'm with you, Tommy. The whole Gibbs and Bijan thing. I'm with you. Give me. I'll take Carter and Gibbs. I'll take that.
Yeah, I would calm down with that. I think they both can be really good, right? But I don't know. Hey, listen, a lot of this when you talk about a running back, where are you going? Like, where are you ending up in? Are you ending up in like purgatory? Like it could impact you if you're ending up with the Philadelphia Eagles. Whatever guy that is going to be better right away, in my opinion. Whoever it is, than the other guy.
That's why I roll my eyes at and again, like I understand, he's a really good player, Bijan, that is. But when we talk about bad organizations, right? Like the Falcons thing, like, all signs point to Bijan getting drafted by the Falcons. Well, the Falcons need about 90 things, right? And last year they ran their offense mostly because Mariota can't throw the ball. I don't know if their guy now can throw the ball either, but it was rushing attack. They didn't do anything with it. I'm not saying that Bijan's not better than the guys they had in the past. They did. But, like, that's an example where I'm like, okay. Well, then, like, that's a team that should probably go offensive line or I know they spent money on the defense, so, like, I'll just leave that there. But that's one where I'm like, okay, an organization like that doesn't draft a running back that high. But we're not in that scenario. This isn't Saquon to the Giants. This isn't McCaffrey to the friggin' Panthers. This is Bijan Robinson, one of the biggest game changers in the draft, going to a Super Bowl caliber roster behind one of the best, if not the best offensive line and an MVP caliber quarterback. Like that stuff matters.
Yeah, I don't want Nolan Smith, though. I want to know parts of Nolan Smith at 10.
No.
Like, I think that's a reach pick at 10. I think you get Nolan Smith at 20. You know what I mean? I just think Nolan Smiths are all around. You know what I mean? They're just easier to find. All right? There's Will Anderson and Nolan Smith is way down the list.
It is.
Of that. Mm-hmm. He's not worthy of the 10th pick in any draft.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I had him on the little graphic, but I would be like, it'd be a very just mid type pick. I think he could be a
Derek Barnett again.
Well, I look at him as like a long term.
Yes.
Half of me is like, okay, thank God it's not Van Ness, but I'm also like, this is going to be a guy who's just going to be a rotational guy that they hope can eventually replace like a Brandon Graham. And the other thing that I'm like, it's an eye roll, and I don't understand why they would do it. Everyone's comparing him to, he's a clone of Hassan Reddick. Okay, we have Hassan Reddick. Why do we need two of them? Like, I know, like, listen, one on each side, like, yeah, that makes sense. But don't we need stuff like elsewhere on the line, right? Like, we have Hassan Reddick for, I think, 2 more years, right? Like, if you want to say, like, he's like a Brandon Graham type or something else, like, I get it, but I don't know. Like, that's just one where I just be like, okay, you better wow me at third. Right, if we end up with Nolan.
Yeah, I just it doesn't do much. Doesn't move the needle. It doesn't matter if he's similar to a player or not similar to a player or if his skill set is. I just don't. I don't know. He's.
Well, I think the problem is he's a bit undersized for a defensive end, right? So he's kind of like. I know that the draft word, he's kind of that tweener. Right?
Didn't say that, dude. I said Nolan Smith is, Ted. Try to keep up, babe. You know what I mean? I know listening comprehension is difficult sometimes in here, but in no way, shape, or form did I say the best player in the goddamn draft is Derek Barnett. So we're 38 minutes in. I might have said it 45 times. So, right? No.
The only time you brought up Will Anderson, you said that the spot where Will Anderson is to Nolan Smith is way different. That's the only time you ever brought up Will Anderson.
Yeah.
You didn't compare
way
Will
different.
Anderson to Barnett.
Way different.
That would be a wild comparison if you did that, which you didn't.
I will flip out on draft night if Nolan Smith is the pick at 10. I will flip out tomorrow night. There's names that I'll freaking attack Howie over. There's names. I hope it doesn't come to that.
Well, see, I think SJM's correct. Like, he's a solid player, but are we really taking a solid player at 10? Like,
Ted, I'm relaxed. You said something stupid. So what am I not supposed to critique yet? You felt the need to critique me quickly when you didn't comprehend. So here I am critiquing you back that you're wrong, probably for the 1,000th time in the chat. But love you, Ted. Keep coming back. Van Ness, Jordan is what names you attack Howie over.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith is a reach.
Yeah, we draft Van Ness tomorrow at 10. I cry.
I think a lot of the corners are a reach at 10.
Thank you.
I think they're talented at 10, but we just don't need them at 10.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just don't think they're worthy of the 10th pick.
Mm-mm.
When I look at the 10th pick, I look at a guy like, I don't know, I look at game changers, man. I don't look at guys that are like, I think he could be good. Right? I don't look at it like that. Like where I look at the kid from Oregon, I say, I think he could be good.
I'm not sold on him.
With
He's a Pac-12 guy. Yeah, I get really nervous about Pac-12 guys.
I'm nervous about all these guys.
It's
I mean, Illinois stinks.
And Illinois is the other one, right? Witherspoon's Illinois, right? And I'm like, we really want to sell our soul on a kid from Illinois. They stunk. No,
I'm not drafting any three of those players from Illinois.
So Tyree Wilson, the end or defensive end from Texas Tech. I'm like, they played the Big 12. Who did they play defense against?
Yeah, I'm not saying these guys can't play. I just don't think they're worthy at 10.
What do you guys think of Porter's kid? I mean, I know he's sliding a bit. Do you think he still ends up going in the first round?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's a first round pick. I don't think he's
a 10.
Yeah, I don't think these guys are ready yet. Like when I look at top 10 picks, you gotta look at like I know a guy went way higher, but it's not even that much way higher. I look at like a Sauce Gardner. I look at a Patrick Surtain. They're game-changing players day one. I can't say that about any of the other cornerbacks. I cannot say that with a ton of confidence that those guys are day one starters. You ain't drafting a guy at 10 to sit around and learn. Are you guys freaking kidding me? Are people out there kidding me? I'm not drafting any of that crap. I'm not drafting a project. I'm not drafting high upside at 10. I'm drafting the upside. Shit. The upside's right now.
Bijan Robinson, damn it.
No, that's where it is. I want Bijan at 10. I've made that pretty clear, and I don't run and rush for running backs. But in this offense, with what we have and his skills, this is a no-brainer. This is a guy who can rush for 15 touchdowns year one here.
He's one of the only guys that we can actually put on this roster and say you're starting day one, and that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Besides Will Anderson.
Yeah, 100%.
Or
safety, which we're not taking at 10, or at least I would be shocked if we took Branch.
Yeah. I mean, Jalen Carter may have an opportunity to start day one. Right? Will Anderson, to me, starts day one. I don't care who you got to take off the field. Buy Josh Sweat. I'll put him at the other end. You know what I mean? See you, Josh. You're no disrespect, but we're gonna put Will there. So I mean, that's it. That is it.
Those three guys, man, is what everybody's zoned in on. Those three guys, man. They fall to 10, or if Will starts to slip a little bit and he gets to 5 or 6, I don't know.
Ralphie, so in your prediction this morning, you're the only guy in the graphic to do this. So I want you to explain yourself. You had them your prediction was you had them taking Jackson Smith and Jigba with their first pick. Why do you think they're going to do that?
Well, I think those three guys are gone tomorrow. Well, my prediction for that was those three guys were going to be gone. And Robinson, Carter, and Will Anderson, those three guys are gone. So you get another guy, and they've been talking about offense, right? Get another guy for Jalen. And obviously, Quez Watkins as the third, and then you sign the guy from Atlanta last year that I'm not even going to pronounce his name because, I'm dyslexic a little bit, so that's going to be a big one to me. But you bring him in, and then you have your third wide receiver right there, right? The JSN is right there. You slide him in, he's automatically your number 3. So I could see them go that route as well. They go wide receiver, and they get another offensive weapon and another toy for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, if it happened, it's not insane. If it's a guy who can come play day one and be impactful day one. So it's not insane. Mm-hmm. It's not asinine. Yeah. It's an offensive league too now. So, I got no problem with them saying, well, we're just going to be more explosive in whatever direction that may be. Right. That's why I look to draft, ends and stuff like that. Or you're looking to draft, in this situation, you're looking to draft more skill position players to make you even better. So I don't think I would flip out about that.
Ted says, will you guys be miserable if Bijan goes ahead of our pick?
Miserable? It depends who's on the board still.
Yeah.
If Carter's still there.
I'd be a little bit disappointed, but it all depends on who we take.
Does Atlanta really need him, though?
I don't think they
Atlanta
need
needs
him.
a lot of things, Ralphie.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't need him.
That's what I'm saying. Like
They got
Atlanta
so many
more than a
issues.
running back, dude. Like you
Yes, they
guys
do.
don't need him. You know, take a corner. You know.
Or no, Ralph.
It would be Atlanta though.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, Ralph.
screw it.
Forget
yeah, I
corner.
know.
Forget corner. Take a quarterback.
Yeah.
Take a
Take
quarterback.
Will,
Yeah.
You know, trade up.
Yeah,
for
I wouldn't even do that at 8 though. So I mean, I wouldn't draft one of those freaking losers at 8. So, yeah,
They already did that last year.
Yeah, it's a big reach. You find out Desmond can play. Year 2, you find out if he can play. Because if he stinks, you're back in the same spot next year.
Hey, you're back to square
Be
one.
top 10 again. Next year.
Yeah. So then you figure it out next year. So they're in that spot where they're just looking for talent. So I mean, I don't know which way they're going to go. Running back doesn't really make sense. When you're a bad team, you win up front. All right, that's how you build your team out through the trenches. Our team built out through the trenches, so we have the luxury of doing whatever the hell we want to do at 10.
Yusuf, as a Washington fan, he says, would you guys trade back if a quarterback is there at 10 and someone like my team is willing to trade up and jump Tennessee to get him?
So the teams that need a quarterback after us, obviously, is Tennessee at 11, Houston at 12. That's if they don't select one at 2.
Yeah.
Washington at 16. Tampa Bay at 9. Tampa Bay at 19.
Ralphie, Patriots at 14.
Okay. I'll
let's
throw
put
in
them
the
in.
Pats.
Yeah.
I'll throw in the Pats. So yeah, Tennessee that
But
needs
none
a
of the guys,
quarterback.
other than the top 2, none of the guys in this draft are better than Mac Jones or
I agree with that, and I think Mac Jones.
the other guy.
Bailey Zappi.
Zappy. Yeah, Zappy.
Zappy hour.
I agree with that, Greg. And you know my thoughts on Mac Jones. But I do
So
agree
Tennessee needs a quarterback.
Well, we
after
would
us.
then say, well, hold on. Can I ask you guys a question? Like, I'm not Mr. Malik Willis, but I think this is comical where Tennessee gets thrown in this hat here of needing a quarterback. Like, when did that become a thing? Like, they just drafted the guy. They're going to give him a minute. They're going to give him more than one goddamn year when they just used a big resource on him to see if he can play. I don't care about the relationship with Vrabel. I don't care about any of that other crap, right? Like, they're not a terrible organization. They're going to give it a second. They're going to let the kid see if he can develop and get better. They're not just going to go jumping up a draft board for the same guy and Anthony Richardson or, Mayo and a coffee like Will Levis. They're not doing that. It doesn't even make sense. Unless they can get Stroud or Young, they're not doing that. It makes zero sense organizationally, and nobody can tell me how it makes even a little bit of sense when Malik Willis is the same quarterback Anthony Richardson is. They're the same guy, and Will Levis stinks. Can't read defenses at Kentucky. What makes you think he's going to read NFL defenses?
Could the switch in GM play a factor, Tom? Because the old GM drafted Malik Willis, and this is a complete organizational change to where the new GM wants his own guy, and they're going with
you can want your own guy all you want. You do that when you're 1 or 2. Makes sense? You don't do that. You don't do that at like 11 for reaches at the quarterback position. When you talk about Will Levis and Anthony Richardson, they're like 3rd round goddamn grades. Yeah. So it's a joke that they're even in the you guys are saying this. It's a joke that they're even in the conversation in a 1st round. They're not 1st round grades. Do people even watch college football? Like, Will Levis stinks. Okay? Absolutely is terrible. And Anthony Richardson, he's a gadget spinner all day right now.
If
It doesn't mean he can't be good. It doesn't mean it can't be like
Anthony Richards not very good.
I'm not saying it can't be a Jalen Hurts thing down the road. I don't know, right? Makes sense? But what I'm saying is, on the games that I watched, and not one time did he stand out to me like, oh, that's a top quarterback in this draft. I didn't think he was even draftable.
Richardson's got an arm. He can run like a gazelle, but can he read a defense?
Yeah.
I mean, he was a turn.
I think Orlovsky put like a film thing on Richardson on Twitter, and then it was like it was like a dime piece down the sideline. Somebody said, "Well, did you check the score of the game?" Because at that point it was 28-3. They were losing 28-3.
Could any of you guys see?
I mean, look, Richardson was a turnover machine at Florida.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He wowed Gainesville with some prolific plays too, but he was also good for throwing 3 picks in a ball game. I mean, I'm sorry.
Malik Willis in college was better than Anthony Richardson.
Yes.
And I wasn't Mr. Malik Willis, but it was like hands down better.
Yeah, I think. I mean,
to get like
if anybody takes Richardson in the first round, I think they're making a huge mistake.
Well, he's going.
Mistakes.
I hear you, but you're 100% correct. They're making a mistake.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't think these guys necessarily are guaranteed to go in the first round. But, just look around it, right? Like they're not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed outside of Young and Stroud. Yeah. Besides that, like most teams sort of have a quarterback. There's like question marks with some.
Right.
But either you have like a young guy in year 2, or you have like a veteran, or you're in that limbo area where it's like,
so is it possible that no quarterback is taken in the top 20?
No, I mean Stroud and Young are going to go.
Stroud and Young are definitely going.
I'm talking about the other jabroks. You know what I mean? I'm talking about Hendon Hooker, who I think Hendon Hooker's probably third.
I was going to say I'd rather draft Hendon Hooker like if I'm a team looking at 30. I'd rather come up and draft and get that extra year for Hendon Hooker than draft Levis or Richardson.
Exactly, because you need the extra year because he's a one-trick pony right now.
And he's coming off an injury.
Yeah, but he's a one-look guy. He's not. Yeah. He's not a guy he doesn't run that kind of offense at Tennessee where they're going through a bunch of progressions. Sure. It's like, hey, I got a guy running free down the middle. Let me throw it 50.
Let me hit it.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean those guys can't get better. It just means Stroud and Young are pro-ready quarterbacks.
Yep.
Like there's a big difference in pro-ready and big projects. Richardson's a project. Levis should just retire now. And Hooker is a project. They're projects. So they're not when you're a project, you're Jalen Hurts. You're Russell Wilson. You're guys that are drafted second round, third round because there's question marks, right? There's just question marks. And good organizations wait on that. Make sense? Like if a team took Anthony Richardson in the second round, that could be a home run pick for them down the road. You take him in the first.
Take him at 4.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Bad news there.
Do we all agree Brace is going 1?
I don't know if that's a guarantee. I don't know.
Yeah. Nothing is guaranteed with this.
I do, yes, but I agree. I don't.
I think he should.
What's everyone's prediction on where Stroud goes? What team?
I don't know who's 2. Tennessee. I mean Titans.
Houston.
Texans.
No, it's Houston.
Yeah, Texans. No, they're drafting a quarterback, so
it should be them. But I think
it should be. Yeah.
I don't know how much of the smoke screen they're throwing up against Deshaun and CJ having the same agent. And the relationship with that, right?
That doesn't make sense. What are we talking about?
I don't know how much.
Could it be Arizona?
No,
guy was a section. Not yet. Guy was a serial.
JG, he's not married to Kyler Fuller or whatever.
Million is
Arizona.
Kyler Murray.
Spot.
They just signed a huge extension, though. Noah, there's no way they could trade that right now.
They're not drafting a quarterback.
I could see. I stick by what I said before. I think Arizona could trade out of the 3 spot. Maybe Vegas jumps up into the 3 spot and takes a quarterback, or Indianapolis.
But who are they trading up to get? Then Stroud or Young have to drop.
Well, that would be the play. Houston doesn't go Stroud.
I don't think Houston is going to take a quarterback.
You think Houston probably takes Anderson then?
Possibly, very, very possible.
I don't know how they don't take a quarterback, though.
I don't disagree with you, but I think there's a lot more fire to the smoke that we're saying.
Apparently, you don't get the opportunity to always draft there either, right? Well, the draft there. Well, hold on, real quick. And the draft there with 2 pro-ready guys. That's got to be understood by them as an organization. Like this opportunity may not come up next year. We might be sitting at 5. Right? We might be sitting at 7, and that guy that maybe could change our franchise and be the face of our franchise might not be there. Where right now, like those 2 guys, I think, and I hate to say this, but I feel like they're sort of can't misses. I feel like both of them in different ways, different styles of play, are like sort of can't misses. They both won a ton of football games. I think Young's a little bit better. I think he's a little bit better of a winner. Stroud's got bigger tools. right? Where I think Young's better in the Dome, where Stroud can go play in Carolina. Not that that's like a windy place, but you know what I mean? Like Young's built for the Dome, almost in my opinion, where Stroud will go out, in Carolina and spin it all around. Like I think Stroud goes 1. I don't think Young goes 1. I don't think Young goes 1.
Yeah, I think too. You got to take into account the head coach is a defensive-minded head coach. Would not surprise me at all if Houston goes and takes Anderson here, makes him kind of the cornerstone of what they're trying to build there under DeMeco Ryans. And then again, that's a beautiful spot for Arizona to be in because there are teams that are going to be looking for quarterbacks. And if they have a chance and didn't think they had a chance to go up and get either Young or Stroud, Vegas, it makes sense to want to jump ahead of Indianapolis to take that spot. And for Arizona, you trade back, you get some assets out of that, and you only move back to 7. There's going to be a lot of talent for them to fill their needs. I just don't see that happening.
I don't know if Stroud stinks. I don't know if he stinks. I think when teams look at him and you look at his tools and his ability to make every throw and his running ability when he wants to, I find it really hard to say he stinks. Like we can talk about the great wide receivers he's had.
Game really opened eyes, I think.
Hey, I don't think he stinks. I agree. I spent a while like not sure about him, like a long time. Where like Bryce Young was my guy. I still like Bryce Young better, but I think teams look at Stroud bigger, stronger, more intangibles throwing the football, and it gets them moist, right? Where Young's small, can he hold up? Well, if you watch Bryce Young play his whole career, he's never taken a big hit. Doesn't take big hits. So Bryce Young's number 1 on my board, right? That I take 1, and then it's like Anderson, and then it's Stroud. So if I'm Houston, I get what Chrome's saying in terms of like, hey, it's almost a Jadeveon Clowney thing all over again, where like we're going to take the D end early, and it's sort of going to change our franchise in a way, which he sort of did. I think Will Anderson's a better pro, but that's a conversation for another day. But I can absolutely see that. I think it's like I say, it's stupid. It depends on who's there. Like I would take Anderson over Stroud, right? So there, I get it. Now after that's where this shit can get wild up in here because if Stroud falls or Young falls outside of 2, then everybody's flying in.
Well, and the other thing too, with potentially like Houston, for example, potentially passing on a quarterback early. I know people brought up Caleb Williams, but he's not the only guy next year that's going to be high in that draft. I think next year's QB draft is potentially going to be a lot deeper at the top level. You know what I mean? Like at the potential starter level, the next year QB could be a lot deeper. So it could factor in. Because if you're taking defense, you're
let me ask you a question then.
You're kind of saying, I'm not going to be good anyway, so we might be here again.
Yeah, well, let me ask you a question. Who's your top 2 guys on your big board?
On mine?
Yeah.
It's Anderson and Carter. Or Anderson and Carter.
Anderson and Carter.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think it's Anderson and Young.
I got Young at 3.
For me, like personally, or if I'm the Texans.
No, you personally. I don't fucking care about.
Yeah, I go Anderson and Carter. I go Anderson and Carter.
You personally, okay,
yes.
Okay. Carter can't go that high to me, but I hear you.
No, talent wise, you know what I mean. Like,
well, you got to put it on your big board, Greg. You got to factor it in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You factor in 95. Like, come on. You got to factor it in.
My D lineman going 95 up the middle.
I like the style. I'm not mad at the guy, but I'm just like, I mean, I am because it's tragic, right? Like, that's not even cool.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of question marks. A lot of question marks that I don't think you can do top 5 with, right?
I agree. I hear you.
But
I was just going town alone. So yeah, big board then probably. If I'm putting that into perspective, yes, I'm going Anderson, Young.
Okay, so we're right on the same page then. All right. Everybody else, what do you guys? Who's your top 2 players?
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, even taking all that into account, I would agree. Talent wise, I'm with Greg. If I'm going pure talent, I got Carter at 2, then Young. But all the factors in, yeah, I would go Young number 2.
I'll go different. I'll go Anderson, Robinson.
Pure talent.
I'll go.
Sorry, Ralph. Pure talent. I'm going Anderson and Robinson, but Bijan Robinson. But of course, nobody's taking a running back in the top 5. So, and that's why I think Robinson will be there at 10. I think Robinson's one of the best players in the draft. And that's who I think we're walking away with.
He could be your top guy on your draft board. That's 100%
Mhm.
true, though. You know what I mean? Like, you're not wrong in saying that.
Oh, I think what we're doing is, and I love Bijan. He's probably 3 on my board because I think Young gets a lot of disrespect, man. To sit here and say Bijan, is better than Bryce Young. I find trouble saying. I have a lot of trouble just spitting that out. Like I think now we're drinking a little bit too much and cool it. Like let's calm down a little bit. Guys, special talent. Bryce Young won a lot of goddamn football games on his back and his ability to make plays. He's a guy who torched that Georgia defense. That was loaded too, right? So I just can't go getting jumpy. Like no, and no is all cool it up. You know what I mean? It was all like a Bijan up.
Hey, it's lagered up. Get it right.
Sorry, I apologize, Bud Light.
No. To Chrome's point from earlier with Arizona, say for example the Texans take Anderson or even like this Tyree Wilson guy that they're like, oh, he fits, right? Because he's longer, right? Like whatever. That's what the Texans would do. They would take a tech guy over Will Anderson.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would.
Boy, did you read the argument for? And again,
we just had this conversation. Half the shit we read is bullshit. Actually, 95% of it.
Well, no,
bullshit.
I would like to think that D'Amico Ryan's going to have a large voice in the room, and if he does, there ain't no way Will Anderson is going to go past.
You're going to tell me a two-time
unless they go the quarterback,
a two-time national champion, a team captain, one arguably the best defensive player in college football last year. D'Amico is going to say, I like the length of Tyree Jackson. Like they should fire him then. Get it? You're not even a defensive guy, D'Amico. But I don't know, right? I think they'd be smarter than that because of the stature of Will Anderson.
I agree.
But I don't know. We talk about this all the time.
I think that they go Will Anderson because I think Young goes first. If somehow Stroud does go first, that could change it to where then Houston does go for the quarterback because I feel like you can't deny taking Bryce Young at that point. But I think if he's gone, I think they go Will Anderson 100%.
I think it's going to – and this could – I'll say this is my bold prediction, non-Eagles draft thing. I think it's going to go Young, Anderson, and then all hell's going to break loose, right? Because, like, oh, my God, Stroud got past 2. It was real. I'll say – let's go back to the Titans thing. I'll say Titans move up – and they'll get Stroud. I think no matter what on draft weekend, they're ending up with one of the top quarterbacks, and I'm just keeping it consistent because I've said this for months. I'm not going to abandon it the night before the draft. They're going to end up with either Stroud or they're going to end up with Trey Lance. That's my bold prediction. They'll end up with one of those two guys.
I feel like Arizona is in such a great spot right now, though, because
great spot
they're
to make
sitting,
so much money tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean they're sitting in 3.
Tomorrow night. Or draft pick.
They could take a high pick because if 2 quarterbacks go, Will Anderson's going to fall in their lap. Or on the other side, if Anderson goes first, the trade capital that they're going to have in that 3 spot to be able to get some back.
Oh, especially if Stroud doesn't go too. Especially if one of those.
That's what I'm saying. If Will Anderson goes.
The Colts might move up 1 just so nobody else jumps.
Well, shit, dude. Remember that year the Bears traded up 1 spot for Trubisky, and you saw what they gave up just to move up 1 spot.
Yeah,
maybe the Colts shouldn't watch that tape because that might be a bad.
I mean, Arizona is sitting real pretty right now.
And as Don says, they got Buddha and D-Hop still to trade.
Yeah,
that's right.
True.
They're going to be loading up.
Not that
with draft
command
capital.
the high, but I think both of them at minimum get you a second rounder.
Oh, second or third. I mean, that's high. That's high value. They're going to get.
Sure.
They're going to have so much trade capital, and again, especially if they trade out of 3, the value of that pick.
Am I naive for thinking that? And again, I'm not saying this guy is any good, but everyone keeps saying, "Oh, the Raiders are going to trade up. The Raiders are going to trade up. The Raiders are going to trade up for Levis or Richardson." Right? It's always just those 2. If it's Stroud, then whatever, because that guy's not supposed to be there. Why are you signing Jimmy G then? Why are you reuniting Jimmy G with McDaniels and sign him to a 3-year deal, mind you, to just use your first pick on his initial replacement? Like, why?
Well,
I don't know.
mean, it kind of makes sense because you're getting that extra year of control. For one thing, you can allow them to progress along slowly.
Yeah, but shouldn't I use a top 10 pick to help my quarterback, like protect him? That I just signed for 3 years?
Yeah, the Raiders aren't taking a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Why people
Unless
are
it's
like mocking
Stroud
him.
somehow falls.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, because he's not supposed to be there. Yeah.
But not real. Come on.
Well, that was the idea I had, though, that they trade out of that pick if Will Anderson gets taken.
I think that they believe that Jimmy G can win football games, which he's proven. So,
He can.
no, I think they
deny
feel,
it.
yeah, I think that they feel like they're in a good spot. I mean, when I look at it, Colts are the team, right?
Mhm.
The Colts are the team. They need a quarterback, right? So Bill's question: do 3 go in the first 9? And he says absolutely. I could see it because there's some bad organizations in the top 10. When you look at Indy,
The Colts.
and Atlanta, right? Indy and Atlanta, you wonder if they reach for somebody.
Yep.
But Indy's the most intriguing team because that's who I could see. Well, they would have no reason to trade up to 3, right? Unless they feel like somebody else will come up there.
Just to get Stroud.
Yeah. So they're in like a weird spot because everybody knows that the Cardinals aren't drafting a quarterback. You know what I mean? So they don't really their Cardinals don't really have much leverage in a way either. Because it's not like the only reason somebody's coming up is to jump somebody else.
And the Cardinals are a team that they just need stuff, right? Like they just need freaking bodies at this point, right? So that would be perfect for them to go back and get assets. And, they might want to trade back twice, right? Like trade back once and then trade back again, just so they get future stuff. The thing with the Colts, which I find hysterical because I think it's going to end up them not getting the right guy, right? Just because it's the Colts. And again, I think it should be Stroud and go to bed, right? Like I think it's the easiest thing of all time if he's there, or even if they need to move up 1 if he's there. But it's like, oh, they might go Richardson because it's Shane Steichen and he might see a little bit of Jalen Hurts, right? Like, oh, I can mold him into what I did with Jalen Hurts. And then I'm like, okay, that's comical, right? Like that's really comical. And that's coming from people in our own that like we had questions about Jalen Hurts, but stop with the Anthony Richardson, Jalen Hurts. This Will Levis, Mayo and coffee thing to the Colts, has been tied together, a lot recently. And then it's like, okay, so they can go anywhere, right? But I think we can all agree that's one team that we know is going to take a quarterback. We just have no idea where they're going to go. Mostly based off of there might be people that they want to get that just aren't there at 4 because there might be a trade. The Texans might get somebody. And they just might be sitting there like, okay, what the hell do we do now? It's either Will Levis or we wait.
I'm going to give you a bold prediction before I run to the bathroom. I'm going to read off Christian's comment here. He says, I hate to compare ourselves to Dallas of the 90s, but Bijan could be our Emmitt Smith. We have a great QB, A.J. Brown. I'm going to add words into this. He said, but could be Michael Irvin, a 3-headed monster, and Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert, and that same kind of mauling offensive line.
Yeah.
And my
Just
bold
slide 'em right
prediction
in,
is, and I know it's I don't even consider it bold, but it is because I think a lot of people want Bijan, but a lot of people don't feel like the Eagles are going to take him. Right? That's how they feel because they feel like, well, they don't look at that position like that. My bold prediction is they do. They do. If he's there, they take him. That's my bold prediction of the night. And people are like, how's that bold? Because that's not their MO. But I really believe that Howie's changed his stripes right now and knowing that in the last few years of going skill position early, right? He's shown a different mindset there a little bit, right? Organizationally. And he knows that he can draft guys later up front because I have a great offensive line coach, right? A great offensive line coach and a great from all reports we read this year and heard about from Nick Sirianni, the first guy in the room every day is the NovaCare is your defensive line coach, right? So up front, you got 2 great coaches. So I can develop guys a little later. And I think they believe that. I think they trust in that now. I think they have the numbers to prove that they can find talent like that later. And that's why I think it's all Bijan, honey Bijan. Let's go eat because they want to score. What's Jeffrey Lurie pretty much always said, and we know what he wants. He wants explosiveness. He wants 40 a game. That's what he wants.
This is the best fit, dude. The best fit right there, bro.
I'm excited for it.
And you don't even second guess yourself.
Yeah, I know it's not like considered bold, but that's bold to me when it comes to the Eagles.
But no, I mean, Tommy, you're on to something just because the closer I get to it, the closer I revert back to old, you know what I mean? Like to regular Howie, regular Eagles. We're not going to have fun, right? You know what I mean? Like tomorrow's not going to be fun because we're going to take Peter Skoronski at 10, and then we're going to take, we're going to go Northwestern double dip in the first round. And not that either of those are going to be bad picks, but it's just like that's the boring Eagles, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. So I think it is a bit of a bold prediction because it does. It shows it changing. It shows the luxury of the pick that we have, and it shows that let's go score 40 a game and see if we can stop us.
What's everybody's confidence level? 1 to 100 that they're going to do it. They would do it at 10.
Or tomorrow?
100.
Tommy's at 100.
I'm going 95%.
If he's there, they're taking him.
95%. You hear everything. Who would you rather play with outside of Patrick Mahomes? Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Dude, it's been like this for the past 3 weeks now, dude. You see the interview today with John Clark?
I know, and that's what's got me worried is all the virtual jackoffs.
It's been there for 3 weeks now, dude. Just get him in midnight green. Let's rock this shit, dude. Let's go put up 45 points on people's asses this year, dude.
Never in my history of watching Eagles football
it's a no-brainer, dude.
Was I more sure about who they're picking at 10 if that guy's there.
Yep.
Never. It's night talk.
Yep.
It's points win. If you score more than the other team, guess what happens? You win.
Yeah.
You win. And this whole league is catered to offense. Listen, they'd be idiots not to do this if he's there. Idiots.
Yep.
You miss me with Jalen fucking Carter. Knock it off. I love the Bulldog. You give me every Georgia Bulldog, not him. I got question marks there.
Frank,
percentage. Let's see. Not 90, not 100. Give me 110%.
Oh,
wow! You think they are okay?
Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, I got to pull the good old Ken Shamrock quote.
Chrome.
Like 80%.
Noah.
If Bijan's there, I'm 100% sure that the Eagles are taking him.
Greg?
75%.
I'll go 51.
Oh my god!
I'd be stunned. Listen. He's the number one player on my board, right? That I think is realistic to be there. That's not Will Anderson because I don't think he's going to be there. I just don't think they're going to. I hope I'm dead wrong. I'll be stunned. I'm obviously on board.
Fair. I don't think Carter's going to be there either.
No. I'm like in your mode, Greg, where it's like, if I'm a betting man.
Oh, I bet it. I already bet it. So
I know, but it's like Skoronski in a trade out. Like, yeah.
See, like I could see them going.
That's nasty, dude.
Secondary.
Don't say that. Don't.
Hey, Ralphie, maybe I went 51% that way we weren't all high and then we weren't doing the clean sweep, right? Maybe
I don't think there's a shot they're taking an offensive lineman there.
I could see them going Gonzalez if he's available there.
Ultimate eye roll pick.
No.
Why do a corner now?
I really don't see an offensive lineman.
That'd be such typical shit right there.
I really don't see the offensive line. They know it's got to be somebody who can play right away. They know. Yeah,
I could see a lineman going either maybe at 30, but probably second probably second round.
I can see you using it there, Chrome. I can see defensive line for sure. Because that's a guy who you expect to get snaps early on. But if you look at that from that side, it sets up more for Bijan than it sets up for a defensive tackle or defense end that's there at 10, right? From what we know.
Yeah, so I think that If Bijan, for whatever reason, is not there at 10, I think they go secondary or pass rusher. And then I think they go whichever one they didn't get or offensive line with 30.
This is why, and again, I think it's an eye roll pick. This is why I think it's going to be Nolan Smith, because I actually don't think Skoronski or Paris are going to be there. So I think they're going to be. Listen, maybe Bijan goes to the friggin' Falcons, right? Maybe the quarterback starts dropping, right? Which is obviously what we don't want. We want some of these other guys to drop. I think they sit there and they're like, okay, well, we think Nolan's really good. You know, they do the whole, Nolan Smith. He's an instant impact guy, rotational guy. They talk themselves into it, and they do it. They take a solid guy that's not really worthy of 10, but they take him at 10.
Yeah, I think those days are over.
I hope so.
I feel like the reaches have been over more recently. I think they sort of learned their lesson on it a little bit.
Yep.
Which shows you an organization that can adapt. Because an organization that can adapt and always wants to get better, can learn from past mistakes. Can learn from, maybe getting too cute, right? So I think with the Derek Barnett picks, and Jalen Reagor's not even in the same conversation as Derek Barnett, right? But when you look at some of like the little reaches, and it's burned them, where in later rounds they stay to their board more and they have more success. Mm-hmm. I think they learn that if I do that in the early round, I can have more success that way. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room and say, look at what I found at 10. No, go take what should be at 10. So I don't think they're going to reach. So if he's there, you go to bed.
I almost wonder if Howie uses all season kind of like the way I use viewed the all season as like a self-reflection, like, hey, we're in the spot we are because we missed on the likes of Derek Barnett. We missed on the likes of Jalen Reagor, to where we had to go back and give up assets and free agent money to go replace them picks in Reddick, right, and Devontae and A.J. Brown, right? You had to go make up for those picks by using either other picks or your assets of money. So to your point, Tommy, I wonder if it is like if you use like, all right, this self-reflection, let's not miss again in an early pick, so we don't have to do this once again.
Mm-hmm.
Martian, that's the only play he's ever made.
Yeah, it is.
Bill, you think that the Eagles are going to take Kincaid?
Kincaid's a reach. Kincaid's a reach.
Isn't he the one with back injuries too?
No,
Isn't he
they
the one
do
that had
that.
like severe back injuries?
I don't know.
Kincaid? I feel like he had like
Kincaid at 10? I'll fucking
not
right.
10.
No, Bill.
No, that's a reach.
No.
Kincaid at 10?
No.
There's like everything's a reach at 10 because it's not as deep as it usually is. So there's a lot more reaches at 10, which even circle jerks you back to Bijan.
It does.
It just circles you back to him because
bro,
there's not that stuff. There isn't.
Yeah.
There isn't. And teams are going to take the smart early picks. Early, you hope. Like Paris Johnson goes and, Jalen Carter goes. And those guys go in that range. And the two QBs go, right? Will Anderson goes. But guess who starts to fall into your lap, right? And if Anthony Richardson goes early or Levis goes early, somebody's just going to come say hello to you. And he comes and knocks on your door. You better open it, baby.
Come on, knock on my door.
Come on my door.
We've
been waiting for you.
Those kisses are hers and kiss. Three's company too.
Bill,
I knew Frank would know the rest of that song.
Of course. Bill, the big board can have him at 11. That doesn't mean the Eagles will take him at 10.
And yes, he does have back worries.
Yeah.
He's been cleared.
Yeah, I don't draft the guy anywhere in the draft that's had back issues.
Especially when our other tight end's born to be hurt for 4 games anyway.
Oh, yeah, you can write that down. Write it down wherever you want. That's going to happen.
He could be 10 or 11 all we want, Bill. It doesn't mean they should take him at 11.
You want to know what the best, when you already have things, right? Like the best weapon for your quarterback, especially a quarterback that moves, is a great running back. Like, it's a great weapon, an asset to have, and a great shoulder to lean on. And those two in the RPO. Huh. You trying to play defense? You want to play defense that day for whatever team that is? You want to play linebacker and get caught? Get caught? Say, oh, you don't have it. Oh, shit. One of them's by you. I'm telling you, this is a smart offensive staff. I think we know that, right? I think we've come to love Howie again, right? So he's grown on us. He's learned things. I think he realizes like how much of it just a missing piece this is, because it's a luxury pick. I keep circling back to that. You just get out of the Super Bowl and you got the 10th pick of the draft. Man, you draft shit you wouldn't usually draft there. Right? You just do. You just say, ooh, I don't gotta win up front right now. I don't got, you know what I mean? Like, think about it. It's a whole change of like your thought process. If you stunk and you had 10, then I'll be yelling at you guys for talking Bijan. Be yelling. It's a different scenario, baby.
100%.
And I don't understand why some of these people can't understand that. You're going to draft an offensive guard at 10 that's going to sit for 2 years? What are we doing? Maybe even longer. What are we doing? It's stupid. You know who your starting 5 is up front. You don't need to go drafting backups at 10. Knock it the frig off. That doesn't help anybody win. Oh, because you got good depth? You get depth in the later rounds, man.
Mm-hmm.
You get the Isaacs, right? You get the Vitais. You hopefully get a Mulata, right? But like the other guys are guys you get later because they don't have to play, and you can develop them, right? That's how you win.
Bingo.
That's how you win when you already have it. You don't go drafting 2 guys in the first round. You know, let's say it at an offensive guard and a freaking corner, right? That's cool. Let those guys sit around and learn. Learn? Try to go back to a damn Super Bowl. Right?
I'll take a game-changing running back, though.
That's the point, Noah. It's changed. And it's cool that it's changed. Because I think all of us would be like the anti-running back pick at 10 if we stunk.
100%.
Even if we were mediocre, not even stink. If we missed the playoffs by a game, or say we got eliminated in the first round, I still think we would be anti, right? But this is not the case.
Of course, because that means we have a lot of other needs. But fortunately, I mean, there aren't too many holes to fill. I think you go ahead, you take Robinson, and if you can, if you can move up a little bit from 30 and somehow be in play for one of the premier offensive tackles, all right, take a swing at it. But
I mean, Dak Prescott was his best when Ezekiel Elliott was in his prime.
Good, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not even a question. There's other reasons why they didn't win shit. Like they weren't deep enough, etc. Right? But like this is like that on steroids. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. I mean, no offense in the NFL, no defense, I'm sorry, has ever sort of faced the kind of dynamic that we can run at you. Nobody. From all different levels. We can beat you for 60 over top. We can take a slant 80, right? We can beat you up. We can RPO you to death. You don't know who's keeping the football. Like, man, I may never see an offense like this. Like, it might be at the end of the year where we're talking, if this happens and guys are healthy, that we're saying, is this the best offense that's ever played in the league? Like, we're talking the greatest show on earth.
Key word, Tommy. You brought up a key word in healthy. If you take Robinson in turn, you're keeping Jalen healthy.
Yeah.
Because then we don't have to rely as much on QB sneaks and shit like that. You know, on 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2, we know exactly who we're handing the football off to.
Agreed.
And even that too, like you don't even have to burn him out with what you currently have already there. It's just you're able to add to what is already a solid group and make that group great.
If If Bijan's gone, what are you guys doing then? If Bijan's gone,
Crying.
what?
Well, I mean,
It just all depends on who's taken before Bijan.
I'm
That's
going
the thing.
secondary or defensive line.
Yeah, I'm going the same.
It's probably going to be the line for me.
You know, I'll go defensive line and
If
secondary.
Bijan's not there, then Nolan Smith is in the play, and then that's when Nolan Smith just gets selected at that
I
point.
agree. I
I'm
agree. With
going Smith and Jigba.
I mean, I don't know.
I
if
hate
we're
to
thin
say it,
there,
but
okay?
I'm taking an offensive tackle if it's the best player on the board. If
All right,
Bijan's not there.
Yeah, real quick. All right, Ted. Well, linebacker isn't in play at 10. So take that off the board. Corner is and pass rusher. Safety is not in play at 10. So you're drafting off a need and not drafting the best player available. So you would be the definition of the Cleveland Browns. You know what I mean?
I do wonder how much smoke there is to the Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler trade rumors. Or if you ask Akbar outside, it would be a
Eckler's
Noah.
definitely there. I
Mhm.
didn't hear much about the Dalvin Cook ones yet.
The Eckler one, you got to
I
pay a
heard
lot
that
of money
this
to.
morning.
No, you're 100%, Tom. You still
Yeah,
have
the
Dalvin
Eckler
Cook, you
one,
got to
you gotta
pay a lot of
trade and
money
pay.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to trade and pay for that one.
You get a 4-year or 5-year deal, $22 million.
You should have just
for
at that
Bijan
point, you
Robinson.
should have just kept Miles then.
I mean, for Bijan Robinson, I'm saying like 5 for 22 or 4 for 22, whatever it ends up being at 10, or maybe a little bit more than that, right? It's not like a ton of money. It's not like a huge cap hit.
Yeah.
And you get him throughout Jalen's big part of his career. They ride together. Game goes, but the game over time. Yeah, I don't want Derrick Henry. I'm sorry. I don't want Derrick Henry. It's cool. Give me Derrick Henry 3 years ago. I'm good on Derrick Henry now.
And Derrick Henry's not a RPO type of running back.
No. I mean,
Derrick Henry's 7 yards behind a center, a quarterback under center.
Yeah,
we don't play under center. We don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry makes more sense on like the
No,
Patriots.
I mean, Derrick Henry's pretty beat up these days.
Yeah, he hasn't stayed healthy in 2 years.
He also can't. He also needs a hole where like other guys don't. You know what I'm saying? Like Derrick Henry gets brought down by a defensive lineman for as big as he is. You know what I mean? Where he should run through those guys. Derrick Henry's success is at the second level because nobody wants to tackle him. You know what I mean? It's just simple. I wouldn't want to tackle that guy. You know what I mean? If I'm a 180-pound corner,
No,
I'm good.
you're right.
I'm good. But he's not as shifty as like, not even close as like Bijan or Dalvin Cook or guys that are like make you miss guys. You know what I mean? So he just doesn't. It's just a different fit. Running the RPO with him is weird.
All right, let me ask you guys this: if they come out of the weekend, forget like the 6th and 7th rounders, right? Like forget about that. Their main headlines of draft weekend is Skoronski. I'll throw Breesy in there for Tom, but it's Buda Baker also. Those are your 3 headliners. How are we feeling on Sunday afternoon?
Man. Like they all
I like Buda Baker.
It makes sense in theory, but again, that's old Eagles sense, right? That's all. Let's get Skoronski in here because maybe he's better than Juergens at guard. But then why did we draft Juergens last year in the 2nd round? Right? You know what I mean? Like, so one of those guys, either Skoronski at 10 or Juergens in the 2nd round, is now sitting for a whole nother year at minimum.
Yeah.
So like it makes Eagles sense, but doesn't make sense for a team that doesn't necessarily need that right now.
All right, what if they end up with Nolan Smith? Let's go with Gibbs and Buda Baker.
I'm okay.
A little better.
That's a home run draft.
That's a double to me.
Really good.
I don't even like Nolan Smith like that.
Well, that's why it's a double maybe to me because What do you do with Nolan Smith? Do you convert him to a linebacker? Then why do we pass on 7 straight years of tough linebackers falling to our laps? Right? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of my thought with Nolan Smith.
Yeah, Greg, he's not a he's not a linebacker.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with one other crazy scenario for you. All right. Well, what happened?
Miami and Milwaukee's tied, just for anybody that cares.
What channel?
Oh, really?
It's on NBA TV.
Why did my TV go off? What happened?
That's pretty crazy because Miami was down 9 points, like a minute of game clock.
Did Butler bring him back?
They were like down
else?
at various points.
Butler
Giannis just got an N1, so they're up by 2 now.
Okay.
How much time?
Butler and Adebayo.
156 have to go in the fourth.
They were down like 15.
Having Miami plus 12 is glorious right now.
They were.
Okay, if you end up with Paris Johnson, Brian Branch, I'll throw this since we're talking veteran running backs, and Joe Mixon.
No, hell no.
Joe Mixon, I'll pass.
No.
I'm
No.
not doing that.
No. I'd rather drink mayo in my coffee than that.
Yeah, I don't. I don't need another veteran running back. I'm going running back because it's a draft, right? You know what I mean? Like
I agree.
either a top talent like Bijan or Gibbs, or even drafting someone in the 3rd round is better to me than going after like a Joe Mixon. You know what I mean? I would have rather, if you're going that route, you should have just re-signed Miles than if you're going veteran running back. You know what I mean?
Depends on if they like Miles. Depends on if you like Miles.
Well, yeah. But and I'm just saying, I think Joe kind of is that same thought with. I mean, Joe Mixon's pretty good, but there's a lot of baggage with Joe. There's already something this offseason with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's
I
wear
think
and tear.
And
Another
again, I
guy
think
with
he's more of a quarter running back with a quarterback under center than an RPO type of guy.
I'm not going to the car dealership to buy a used car. I want the new one.
Yeah.
I want the one with 0 miles on it, per se, when it comes to the running back, right? That's what I want. That's what I want.
Okay, what if they go Bijan, trade out, and then trade back? With their, say they trade out and then they trade back with like their other 2nd round. They hit you early, but then they go to sleep for a little bit.
But if they hit me early, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I
If they
agree.
hit me early, I'm good.
I agree.
So Bijan and 2 trade backs?
Yeah, we okay. Here, we did it. Okay, we'll see you in a week. It's like,
Yeah.
like that type of a
We
structure.
did what everybody wants. Now we're just going to do what we need to do now.
I mean, I don't think it's an impossibility they trade out of 30. That's a very valuable asset there for teams that want to have control.
I think they can do it. I'll be annoyed though. I'll be annoyed if they don't.
Depends on what you get back, and how
Such
much
a
further they move back if it's a trade
Yes.
back.
Such a hard poll question. Like to try to get in like their head.
Yeah.
Who's if we stay at 30, somebody asked. Scott said this. Who's everyone's like number 1 realistic option at 30 that they want?
I want 2 guys. I want Breeze, and I want the kid from Pitt, the defensive lineman from Pitt.
Cansey?
What's his name again?
Aaron
Yeah,
Donald.
Cansey. Yeah, Cansey. Yeah.
I don't think he'll be there. Oh, sorry. I choked up on an airhead. But I don't think he'll be
Airhead.
there. If he's there, that's great. Gibbs or Branch. They're 2 guys I want around that 30 mark. If we don't get Bijan, right?
Sure.
Like, you know,
Right.
you can take Gibbs off the board if I get Bijan, but you know, there's 2 guys at 30 that I really like that I think could be there.
I'll go Gibbs Ojulari.
For me, see, if we don't take Bijan, I'll go Gibbs. But if we already have Bijan, I mean, I'd be fine with Kalijah Cansey. I'd be fine with Adetomiwa Adebare.
God bless you.
Christ
Thank
almighty.
you.
He practiced that rolled off the tongue way.
That's
too
the only reason
much.
why he put him in his sport.
Yeah, I wonder. I see. Right
He
through it.
wanted to say
Cyrus
that's-
Torrance is
year.
another option.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he didn't put him at 10 on the graphic just so he could
This
put
guy,
that on the graphic.
this guy just probably said it in the shower 55 times before he came on. You know what I mean? Like,
Did you
like
do
I said,
that,
front
Frank?
of the mirror. Abajawari.
Did you do that, Frank?
No, I just pulled up his Wikipedia page to make sure I got the pronunciation right.
You said it
Jesus,
seven
guys.
times
I don't
last
even know
week.
how to read those pronunciations.
Yeah, but it's like,
No. Good
but I
for
got to
you.
remember.
I don't know
Big
about
last
Like I
names
got, I got
that,
the
I'm
first thing
dyslexic
spelled
as
right
it
when I was
is.
typing it up. I'm
All right,
like,
what's the wide receiver? Who's the wide receiver we just signed about 7 days ago, Frank? What's his name?
all right, let me read it.
Yeah.
While he pulls that
he
up,
wasn't prepared.
while he
No,
pulls
no,
it
no.
up, I'll go Gibbs and Michael Mayer, tight end.
From Notre Dame, right?
Notre
Let me
Dame.
find
Okay,
it.
that's somebody I'll take in the first round.
At 30, what do you think about Joey Porter Jr.?
Won't be there, but I'll take him.
If he's there, then sure, I'll
Dude,
take
if
away
he's
all
there
my
at
cornerback
30,
stuff.
He's sliding. I mean, I've seen some mocks where he's dropping into the 20s, and who knows? He might be there at 30.
I'll take him there.
I don't
Can
think
guys-
there's any chance, but
Can you guys give me updates on this Milwaukee game? By the way, I don't have NBA TV. on my cable.
Milwaukee's up 2.
Kevin Love just fouled out.
Great.
It's the NBA.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Who
it's out of
cares?
commercial now.
27 seconds left.
Cracking
commercial
her
break.
up 3-1 over the Avalanche.
Who's and that series is 3-2 Seattle, isn't it?
It's
Or
2-2 right now.
2-2.
Hey, how did our Phils wrap up? The last time I left off, we were down
won.
5-4.
They won.
They won 6-5.
won.
3
right.
yeah, 3 runs, 2 runs in the 8th inning.
They
Oh,
won, Noah.
sweet.
Yeah, 2 runs.
Yeah, they won, Noah.
Yeah, I know we gave up a grand slam earlier in the ball game to Crawford.
Oh no. Fox is. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's Monk grabbing at his knee.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, Fox is hurt too, so right. At least Fox is playing unlike Kawhi.
Gary Payton Jr. is literally on the ground. Hold on, let me see.
Chrome, did you give your 2? Chrome at 30?
You guys know me. I'm a positional guy. I already gave that earlier. I don't know the draft that well enough to know who's going to be
Gotcha.
around 30.
That's okay.
Thanks for Alfie.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's okay, Buttercup.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's a good try there. Good job.
You get a
No,
gold
again,
star.
I reiterate, but it depends on what you go. If we go the running back first, if we get Bijan, then I'm going I'm probably going secondary over defensive line, but I'll go best available at that point between those two positions. But if he's not there, then I think whichever one they take at 10, they'll try to grab that or an offensive tackle later in the draft.
Why is Don always trolling us
What are you doing there?
with Zaire?
Oh.
Is it because we made fun of Detroit last time, Don? Are you still butthurt over that, buddy?
Surprised Don doesn't have a CJ profile picture yet.
Yeah, that was the other night.
That
Ted,
was so last week.
At TNT, Ted. Tom and I gave our
MFL.
bold predictions for the draft. What's everybody else's?
Bold predictions.
Yes.
Oh, Hendon Hooker goes before Willie Boy, Mayonnaise Boy. That's
Oh,
my
I
bold
like the
prediction.
pick.
All right.
I like the pick.
I like that. Anyone else?
Bold prediction.
Bold prediction.
Hendon Hooker goes before.
That's my
Willie
number 3
Boy.
quarterback.
Goes before Willie.
To me, he's before both of those guys.
Ooh, Slim's going with 4 straight quarterbacks pick. That's his bold.
Damn.
It's good for the Eagles.
Yeah.
That's very good for the Eagles. Martian, bold prediction. Will Levis stops putting mayo in his coffee?
No chance.
Nope.
No. Damn it.
We're gonna get Frank to throw up tonight.
Hell yeah.
Last chance. He won't be on the next couple.
Probably
nights.
Miracle Whip too.
It's currently at 2 because Don said something in there and I couldn't do it.
Joshua says, bold prediction. Richardson gets picked in the top 10.
Really
Nice.
bold.
I think that's going to happen, Josh. Should he get picked in the top 10? No. Will he? Probably.
No. I think he's going to be a bust.
I think this whole quarterback class is going to be a bust. That's my prediction.
All right.
Well, I think
This whole
Richardson. I
quarterback
think he'll be.
stinks.
I think Richardson will be a Jamarcus Russell sized bust.
John says bold prediction: Howie trades up to get Anderson. Okay, fan of that.
Bold.
Ted says you guys think we can get Biard from Tennessee? He's way better than CJ. You know, it's interesting. That's the one name that was like really hot, like about a month ago.
Yeah.
It's gone real quiet.
Yeah, it's going real quiet.
Quiet.
But again, right around these draft times, right? You look at guys like Byard, you look at guys like Buddha, D Hop. It's why Aaron Rodgers got happened yesterday, so that they can get the picks in the hands of the teams that are actually going to pick them, as opposed to drafting for teams like this, like the NBA does, right? Yeah. Where you draft for guys and stuff like that.
Martian bold prediction: Bijan ends up in the Cowboys.
Daniel's prediction.
That's a big jump.
How he
It's
drafts someone
26
we've
to
never
9.
heard of.
It's literally 26-9.
I like that one.
A big jump.
Yeah. And they don't even have the draft capital this year to pull the
Who are you talking about, Ralphie?
The Cowboys are at 26.
I think they're taking tight end. Dak needs a tight end. He's like that's like his best friend. You know what I'm saying? And they lost him. Could they take Gibbs also? Sure. Will I be upset about it? Yes.
James Franklin, Don. Why would Minnesota trade up into the top 5?
Oh, geez. Oh, he's really going after you to throw it now.
Oh, geez.
No, I'm just curious. Who's your target? It wouldn't shock me.
But who's
your target if you go to the top 5? I mean, they only have 5 picks total in the draft.
I'm guessing that's Stroud.
Yeah.
So it's the only person that's not supposed to be there, right? Still.
Yeah, I just don't know, what's your target? If you're going top 5, you got to have a target, right? I mean,
that can't even be like, oh, we're trading up for one of the quarterbacks. It's like, no, it's for this human.
Yeah. I mean, it's Kirk Cousins. I'd take Kirk Cousins over the other quarterbacks not named Stroud and Young.
Over Mayo, boy. Sorry, Frank.
I'm trying to think of a bold prediction.
So currently at 2, so we're all good here.
John says, any chance Howie grabs free agent Yannick Ngakoue? Jesus, I feel like I feel like we're back in quarantine. That was the name of quarantine.
I feel like all that
still
talk.
Think there's a possibility of that.
Yeah, makes sense, guy.
Yeah,
all he does is sack
cheap
people.
Flyer.
Minnesota needs a quarterback, but again, there's no one worth anything above.
You're
not going up to 2 though.
Where are they at? 23.
They're
23 to 5.
Yeah, that's.
And really, if they're going to go up in the top 5, they might as well go to 3, right? That way they don't have to deal with the Colts. So 20.
You have a first, a third, and a fourth. You don't even have a second this year.
Yeah.
So that's like a player. That's so like
first, third,
all of our
fourth,
picks.
fifth,
Dalvin Cook
plus Dalvin Cook.
You're giving up ownership stake in the team.
Yeah,
that's 20 picks. That's 20 picks.
And season tickets.
Gentlemen, I got a call tonight.
All right,
enjoy tomorrow's festivities, and let's hope Howie pulls a rabbit out of his hat.
You throwing a draft party at your house tomorrow?
Huh?
Said you throwing a draft party at your house tomorrow?
No, my man, I got to get up at 3 a.m. for work.
No, that would be important. You got to get to bed now.
Just call out. It'll be all right.
Yeah,
Ralph will come tuck you in.
This thing's a 1-point game.
That's the professional
thing to do. Story and
is this thing a 1-point game?
Yeah, it's 117, 116. Yeah.
Who has possession? Who has possession?
Miami does.
Oh, so they've got a shot.
Yeah, with 6 seconds left.
Oh, okay. I
I'll
like
give you
it.
All right, boys, be good.
Say no, brother.
See you. No, have a great one, buddy.
Later.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
See ya. Have a good one, buddy. Yep. See you, man.
All right, you too, Ralph. You guys be good.
Yep. See you, man.
Ralph, you're the worst.
Sorry.
Ralph, I hope the Lakers lose.
Yeah, we probably will Friday. By the way, we're really screwed Friday night.
Guys falling asleep on the air, and you're just like, one more thing, no. What's that? I'll see you tomorrow.
So it's a jump.
I'll go
right now
bold prediction.
Miami.
Eagles end up with Derek White.
What?
What?
Isn't that what's the linebacker
Derek
from
White.
Tampa?
Derek
Oh,
White
they just
plays-
turned it over.
What?
Did I get his name wrong?
Derek White plays for the Celtics.
Who's the linebacker?
Oh,
Devin
What
White.
just
Devin
happened?
White.
Devin White. I knew it was a D
Oh
White.
my goodness!
Giannis almost
Wow.
turned it
It's only the
over.
third quarter. You guys are reacting to the third quarter?
It's
The fourth quarter.
what?
ESPN didn't update.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
Jordan Davis is 26.
It's 12:16 at
Oh
night.
my
Well, why would they be in
God.
the third quarter? Where are they
Yeah.
at?
All right, so Milwaukee's
Oh,
at the
they're playing
line to shoot
Alaska
two.
right now.
Drew missed the first one. Drew missed the first one. And Miami's got a timeout to advance the ball. And they got a timeout to advance the ball.
It's going to be an inbound. Yeah, Martian. I'm like, wait a second. Wait, did I break the matrix? I'm seeing
Oh,
fourth
crap. Colorado
Yeah,
scored
Ralph, you're
3-2.
like 30 seconds ahead of me, Ralph.
Yeah.
I'm not even
I
at
got
the free
5
throw
optic
yet.
cables.
It's ridiculous. I don't know how
Yeah.
he does it.
It's on Ralph's
I'm on a
standard
Wi-Fi
time.
box. Yeah. Are
They
you
work
there,
on my
Ralph?
time, damn it. They work on my time, damn it. You know?
Are you there?
Did
No.
Giannis really just throw that ball away?
That happened like a minute ago.
Yeah, I don't watch the NBA. I just turned it on.
Greg, that happened in the other game. You're still
Did that happen in the
This
third
happened in the-
quarter?
Yeah.
Did that happen in the third quarter?
might be
It
watching-
did.
Greg, that happened
be
on
watching-
Monday, Greg.
He's watching a game from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, who's this Lou Alcindor guy on the team?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Jesus God damn.
Greg, they no
Oh,
longer
man.
Greg, they don't have Thon Maker starting for them anymore, Greg. No.
Jeez. Thon
Jeez, the
Maker.
dark days of Milwaukee Bucks basketball.
Maker.
Thon Maker.
Wish
Thon
they would go
Maker.
back.
Jeez, man. Golly.
Yeah, that does is Greg is still watching the Cavs Warriors 2018. Blocked by James. Blocked by James.
I'm
Oh,
glad
I
Martian
don't,
got it.
I don't watch LeBron anything.
Also, that's not 2018. That was 2016. My bad.
Yeah, get it right, Don.
Was that the 2018 finals?
Nah, 2016.
Okay.
Carlos, Lucas Van Ness.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus
yes.
Christ.
What would make
Lucas
this draft
Van
a
Ness.
nightmare? Trading up for a cornerback. Or
You know what would make
Lucas
it? You know what else would make it a nightmare?
Huh.
146 into the show, still talking about the draft would make it a nightmare too. You know, ready for draft. Ready
It's
for
like
draft.
Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah,
Christmas Eve.
let's get here already, right?
Yeah, we talked enough about the goddamn presents. You know, we've circled this wagon.
Now we're worried about
just trying to-
stocking stuffers.
Yeah. Now how many stocking stuffers can we get back?
trying to
Hold
hang
on
in
to
to
that
see what
reaction,
happens.
Ralph.
I'm just trying to hang in until Ralph tells me what happens at the end of this game because
You
I'm
want me to tell you what
45
happens?
seconds behind.
Don't say it.
I'm not saying nothing.
Hold it.
Actually,
I'll
no.
be
Please
neutral.
say it because I can't see it. So
I
please
got
tell me.
2.1. It's 2.1 seconds on my end.
Greg's back in a minute and
We're
20.
about to inbound it.
At least Greg's got the feed.
Greg's in the bubble. Greg's still in the
Oh, you
bubble.
missed it, Tom. You missed it. He thought about 3 minutes ago. Greg still thought it was the third quarter. He's like, "Why are you guys worried
He's
about
like,
the
you're
third quarter?"
reacting to third quarter?
Oh! No way!
Jimmy
What?
Butler!
No way! What? No way, Jimmy!
How did he make that shit? How did he make
Wow! Wow!
that? Bro, Tommy. He
Wow.
caught that shit.
What? That might be one of the best final shots I've ever seen. I've ever seen.
Oh my
That's
God!
incredible. That's
Ryan,
incredible.
Did you, are you
Still
seeing-
hasn't even
you know what
inbounded yet.
happened?
Still hasn't even
Wow.
inbounded yet.
Bro, Jimmy Butler.
Malik Monk made a
alley-oop.
shot on my
With that.
TV.
Yo, Jimmy
Yo.
Butler, right? Jimmy Butler alley-oop with 2 guys on him, caught it and put it in with 2 guys on him. Tie game going into
He
overtime.
was falling
Free
down
basketball,
backwards.
Martian.
Wow, this is crazy.
I really hate Ben Simmons, man.
Oh my God!
I
I've
really
never
hate
seen
Ben
anything
Simmons.
No
like that.
way.
He was literally laying back, caught it like this, and just threw it up, and it went in.
I hate Ben
Wow.
That is crazy.
Tobias over me. That's
No, it
crazy.
wasn't Tobias
Simmons.
over
No, it
him.
was
It was-
Simmons and Brown. It wasn't Tobias. It was Simmons. and Brown.
We could have got a haul back for Ben back then. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Oh,
my God.
100%.
You want to talk about stocking
One-
stuffers and great
Yeah,
Christmas
dude.
gifts?
Yeah. Tom, you know who we could have
Offensive
gotten?
foul. He pushed off.
Oh my God.
Tom, we could have gotten James Harden back then.
He
That
Greg
was a
pushed
never-
trade.
off. Offensive
Yeah.
foul.
Greg's never been a Jimmy guy.
I love Jimmy. Has one good game. The blow fest come out. Go.
Well, Greg, I know you didn't watch it, but it was like one of the greatest NBA playoff games in like recent memory. It was like pretty good. It wasn't like
Yeah, I
a
didn't watch it.
25-10 game. Like it was like a literally, I'm playing with G Leaguers and the ghost of Tyler Hero. I'm gonna beat Giannis and the Bucks.
That's crazy, man.
Seattle won up 3-2 over to Avalanche now.
Wow.
I hate
That's
Comcast.
That's upset city.
I hate Comcast.
I can't even get it. Like, I gotta go to freaking YouTube TV to watch a feed that's 30 seconds behind. But I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, he pushed off. He definitely pushed off.
Are they reviewing it? Or is it
Don
just
Don, I watch that all the time. Don Don.
Okay, so take this what it's worth. James Palmer,
Here we go.
the NFL
Second
Network,
go.
the NFL Network.
I got 30 years.
Eagles GM Howie Roseman has been talking to other teams in the last few days about trading up in the draft in order to pick Ohio State's left tackle, Paris Johnson.
Yeah, which means it's not going to happen.
Smoke.
Yes. I'll take that.
That means if he
Oh,
gets there
yeah.
at 10, who's coming up to get him?
yeah,
That's what
Well,
Yep.
Ralph, are you reading that from that Dove Kleiman?
yeah.
Yeah, he misquoted it. So like it's really
Oh,
funny.
that's nice.
He didn't even name it. Was like, oh, the article was they're exploring options to move up in the draft to take a lineman. It wasn't Paris Johnson. It was like, oh, Will Anderson or Jalen Carter.
That's
I don't know where he got Paris Johnson from. Also, don't do that. Like, don't do the Paris
no.
Johnson. If there's 1% of truth in it, don't do it.
No.
No, I don't think I don't think he would do that.
Jimmy's got 40 points tonight, by the way.
Yeah, pretty good.
40
offensive
points,
foul.
8 rebounds, 4 assists.
All right, well, our Sixers conversation brought to you by Gleason's Bar, located 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com is where you can find them. And bam, with a finish. Go try to Trenton, go have a cocktail. It's on us. Get 10% off your order. Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com. Go check them out. So what are we thinking here? Obviously we're getting the Celtics. They're not, like I said earlier, the Hawks aren't winning 3 in a row, I don't think. Maybe they can see
You
one
can have a
other
prayer
one.
service for that.
Nah,
Prayer
they
services
question.
have been retired, Frank. They've been
haven't
retired.
worked, Frank. Sorry.
Quick
You know,
question.
it's a
Quick
great
question.
idea.
Is this what,
I'll have my own prayer service with blackjack and hookers.
Oh my God.
how many
And mayo
how
and
many
coffee.
times has an 8 seed beat a 1 in the NBA? I
Uh,
know that the Denver did it.
Didn't the Warriors do
90s.
it with
We
Baron
believe
Davis
Warriors,
and them?
yep.
Didn't the Warriors?
seven.
I
Warriors
think
beat
twice,
Dallas.
right?
Did it.
Yeah,
Sixers
Warriors
did
beat
it.
Dallas the one year.
Warriors beat
Sixers did it. The Knicks
Did
did it.
The Derrick Rose Bulls team.
when
Oh yeah,
Rose got
Derrick
hurt.
Rose got hurt. Yeah.
Collins.
they-
What was that? That was Collins, right? That was still the coach.
Yeah, Doug Collins. Yeah.
Running up and down the friggin' down the sideline.
It doesn't happen often, Chrome. It doesn't.
Bro,
No.
Miami beats
Listen.
Milwaukee. Jesus.
Oh my God! I hope it happens so bad.
Please.
Well, I'll say this. I agree with you, Tom, as much as like we appreciate Trae Young in their efforts yesterday and John Collins actually showing up. I would be stunned if they pull it off.
I'd love
But-
to I'd love to see them get to a game.
See it, Don
7,
Don.
though.
Love you, buddy.
Oh yeah, make it a
Love
real
it, Donnie.
sweat. Well, and it's given us the maximum amount of time. Like no matter if it goes to a game 7, like it's going to be Monday. The series, like it can't go further than that. But they gave us maximum rest, which can only help Embiid and really help Harden, which nobody's really talking about because we know Harden. He loves his rest. There's a path now, right? Like if Miami ends up beating Milwaukee, there's a path where you don't have to face Boston, then Giannis and the 1 seed.
Oh, it changes my whole perspective I had before because I said to you guys I didn't see them beating both. I still think they can beat Boston, but to have to face both back to back, I felt it was tough. But I'll tell you what, Milwaukee gets knocked off. I absolutely think the Sixers could be representing the East in the finals
Yeah, I mean, we got a big hurdle to get over before that.
with
Obviously.
Boston, right? Sure.
I mean, knowing that we got to see, like, it's hard for me to preview and predict anything when I don't know what I got to see Joel Embiid play. Like, I can't go running down broad or do anything crazy until I see it. I see it, which is a lot of time. It's almost 10 days. And you'd hope with treatment and some modern medicine that, he can play it at an 85% level at least. So, that's what I'm waiting on. I think, that's what makes it hard. and takes the steam out of it a little bit, takes the air out of the balloon, per se, right? Just does.
Because we felt so good coming in because we thought he was healthy, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? And then and then that dark cloud just hovers over again, like once the playoffs hits, and you're just like, what the hell? I think I brought it up. Well, it's just a kind of a throwaway comment in one of our chats, Tommy. It's like it almost feels like there's a bounty out on him once the playoff happens. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, because you get these low-level guys. I mean, Siakam, I know he's not low-level, but you get these guys that just run at him and just, like Claxton just throw, I mean, partially Joel's fault too, but, like, Game 3 just being all over the court and, like, literally on the court. And you just feel like there's a bounty almost, it feels like sometimes.
Well, you do worry about the physicality of the playoffs because it's a different game watching playoff basketball than it is regular season, and just the physical level of the game is so much further up that I worry with that takes a quick toll on him because history has kind of proven that it hasn't. You're seeing that a lot this playoffs, though. A lot of these guys are going after the big stars and the old, we'll trade this guy to take that guy down or take that guy out. And Joel's that guy for us.
Yeah. Should have seen the look Jimmy gave Drew after that last shot. That was funny. Yeah, Chrome, I agree. And Greg, I agree too. Like they're, I'm about saying they're trying to hurt guys on purpose, but you're seeing it a lot more. And you listen. We just gotta hope that he's good enough, right? Because then you hope you get some time in between this series and the conference finals, maybe. Right? There's a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know. We're gonna find out if he can play soon.
Well, and
you think he's out there game 1, guys? Do you think he's out there Monday?
I do.
My gut tells me there's a little bit of gamesmanship here. I'm sure that there's some issues, but I believe in the gamesmanship of this. I think he'll be fine and ready to go by Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think he's so good. He blocked that shot the other night with the sprain.
Yeah.
With the sprain, he still had it. So, I mean, it went from a sprain to an LCL. And, like, everything I read about that is, like, 3 weeks, usually, depending on the severity of it. And with these guys in their shape, they're giving me the answer for the average Joe, right? Yep. So, but also that average Joe doesn't have to do the things that they do on a basketball court either. So there's that factor. But they also get treatment round the clock. So
they get the best, the best in the world.
Right? Like they get the good stuff, baby, the good stuff. So, listen, I agree with you. I think he's out there game 1. There's obviously breaks in this series. There's no back-to-backs. You get a lot of you get breathers, and during those breathers, you get treatment. And if you're really dedicated to your treatment, which I know he'll be, there's no reason he can't.
I think another factor too going into the series is Paul Reed proved not to be a liability.
No,
towards the end of the year and even into the playoffs, right? So you don't
Greg,
necessarily
series. Sorry, real quick, because I'll forget about it. This series. You're not going against that Brooke Lopez type, right?
Sure, yes.
So you're not going against the next one either. It looks like, but and he just made a block on cue. But you know what I mean. To your point is you're not going against that back to the basket big time center. But listen, like he's played very well, and. I've given him a lot of credit, rightfully so. He's kept his fouls down. But it's a tall task to ask the guy to start in that series.
No, I'm just saying. You're 100% correct. I'm saying in terms of just like kind of limited Joel's minutes, right? You don't need Joel to play 40. If Joel can give you 30 minutes, though, right? You know what I mean? Like,
30 minutes of Joe's better than no minutes of Joe.
Because we all know he's a point per minute guy, right? You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
So. Yes, we don't want him to start. We don't need him to play big minutes, but he's proven that he has taken his game up a little bit to where he's not such a liability to where he can plug in another 5 to 10 minutes a game and not kill you.
Well, I think it's really important. And again, I understand the Nets are way different than the Celtics, right? So it's different competition. But I think that's why it was really important to see Tobias Harris be arguably the best Sixer of the series. I truly think he was, right?
Yeah.
I don't even think there's an argument
And that's
for that.
fully
Most
acknowledging
consistent player.
how good Maxey was in those two middle games, right? You know, Harden had his moments. Harden's like outside of the Embiid thing, like Harden's my main concern, right? Because this is the difference. And this is why I said, like, even though, you know, at the start of the playoffs, I had us losing in 7 to the Celtics. This is why I continue to say that the winner of the Celtics-Sixers series is not only going to win the East, I think they're going to win the NBA Finals. It's just because it's about matchups. And the reason why I think the Sixers team, if they finally get over the hurdle of not only the second round, but beating the Celtics in the playoffs, they don't need Embiid to be a friggin' superhero anymore. Like any team, you know, the last year's team, any of them, it was with a caveat of Embiid being a freaking superhero. If Embiid doesn't go for 35 and freaking 11, you don't stand a chance. In this series, and again, it takes a hurdle now, you won numerous different ways with Embiid either being taken completely out of the game because of how they smothered him playing a decoy, or him not even being in the building. You have that, and now you have rest to go along with it. Again, like, I don't need James Harden to go out for friggin' like Houston numbers where he's putting up 35 and 13 assists. If he wants to do that, great. I'm not going to complain. I just need him to be able to dribble the freaking basketball. And the one thing, and I understand it's James Harden. This is what he did in Houston. He's, you know, a creature of habit, all that stuff. It's I'm going to go up and try and make the layup, and I'm going to try and, you know, get contact and get an N1. Number one, dude, you don't have the lift that you once did to where you're getting freaking blocked before you even start going up to the basket. Number one. Second thing, enough with the you know, where's the waving of the arms. Everybody sees it. You know what I'm saying? Where's the call? They're not going to call it anymore, dude. So you doing that is hurting your team because you're not going to make the layup, and then you're not getting back on defense because you're talking to Scott Foster, you know, or fill in the blank ref. There's ways for you to be really good for this team if you just freaking adapt. Like that, we talked about it before the season, Tom. That mid-range, instead of him going up and trying to, you know, get contact and all that stuff, pull up at the foul line where Embiid's, you know, shooting and make it from there. Every time he does it, he makes it.
Yeah, he's usually decent at it. I mean, I think he's adapted. You know, I think he's adapted his game. That's the only disagreement I have because he has. But I do need him to finish around the rim. That's important. But in a small sample size, they can be still really dangerous even without Embiid.
Yeah,
I do think Harden was better overall through the season, finishing around the rim, but he did not look good in this last series. A lot of his penetration, his ball handling wasn't very good going, particularly when he got to that second level around the basket. It looked very lackadaisical to me in this series, but overall through the season, he's been doing pretty well driving the lane. But
I want to think he's going to be okay. Like, I want to think he's going to be good enough for us, right? I want to hope that.
So, like, I'll give you, and this goes to what we were both saying, Chrome, with, you know, him within, you know, right by the rim. In this series, he was 5 for 20 inside of 5 feet. This can't happen.
And that's even at this age, that's not James Harden.
And he's not getting to the line, right? Like, if you're getting to the line, you're getting me to that way, fine. But you didn't get to the foul line until what, game 4?
Yeah, some of that's on bad officiating too.
I agree.
You know, some he just missed, obviously. There's probably a handful of like 5 that are on him. And I bet you the other ones, if we went back and looked at him again, there's contact. And the Miami Heat.
They did it. They did it.
Wow, they did it.
They beat Milwaukee.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you, Miami.
Unbelievable.
Jimmy.
128, 126 in overtime.
How do you have how do you have that ball in that last possession and you don't get a shot off before the buzzer?
Budenholzer getting fired, right? Budenholzer getting fired, right? Like, I know Giannis got hurt. I know Middleton's not the same, but you can't lose to Miami. You can't.
Am I wrong? Didn't they win one of those games with?
They won game
Giannis
3
out?
without him. They won game 3 without him. Yes.
Well, he hasn't been good enough either. So,
wow,
crazy.
let me hear all the constituents tell me again why
Tobias over me?
Giannis should be the MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Jimmy should.
10 for 20.
Well, you asked Jimmy. He said it's Joel.
Knicks,
Well, 'cause
Heat. One of those two teams are going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yo,
Knicks,
I'll tell you what
Heat.
though, that
Might
series
be-
could be.
Yeah, it might be
That series
those
might be
Knickerbockers.
Yeah,
I
Knicks
I
are
can't
good.
believe it. The Knicks. Who would have thought that the Knicks get back to the Eastern Conference Final before we do? You know, if you said over the last 5 years that the Knicks would get to an Eastern Conference Final before us, we were laughing in each other's faces.
Yep.
That
Say,
series,
you know what
and that-
Tom said the other night? This was comical. Like, come on, it's bad.
The Miami
It's
Heat
going to be
are
a
the
series though.
The Miami Heat are the 6th number 8 seed in NBA history to advance past the number 1 seed.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus. I mean,
Milwaukee's overrated anyway right now. I don't
Milwaukee
think they're that good.
or Giannis was 14 for 27 from the field, let alone 10 for 23 from the foul line.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
And Simmons?
He was
Middleton-
also on the foul line.
Ben Simmons?
Middleton was 10 from 24 from the field.
Horrendous.
Drew Holiday was 4 for 11 from the field.
Horrendous.
Like, no wonder they lost.
Yeah, they freaking stunk. They stunk this whole series as a group.
Yeah.
You know,
Frank,
really,
Frank,
they did.
Frank, can you make a blender image of Giannis going into Simmons, please? A four.
Turning into Ben Simmons.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Giannis turns to Ben.
All right, well, the Sixers open up Monday night against either the Boston Celtics or the Atlanta Hawks again, which would be funny. So, you know, it's really, like I
Goes
said,
to playoffs past.
it's hard to predict this shit without knowing Joel's status.
Yeah.
And just leave stuff up in the air. But we'll be giving you live coverage throughout it. So stay with us. We'll obviously be giving you our draft coverage tomorrow night, giving you the whole first round. So stay tuned for that. And we got a big week coming up here. A big
week. Gotta love this time of year.
Mhm.
Fire Budenholzer is the number 1 trend on Twitter.
Fire. This is what I say all the time. Fire your players, and you're not going to do that. You know what I mean? Fire the guy who was 10 for 23 from the line.
Giannis the
Fire the guy that was 10 for 24 from the field. Fire the guy that was 4 for 11 from the field. All right, fire the guy who didn't get the last second shot off.
I was gonna say, find somebody out of those 5 guys to fire to get a shot off.
Yeah,
with
I mean, we're
20 seconds left.
I mean, as much as I hear you fire him, the guy did win a title, right? I just think it's funny. Like, guy won a title, and they ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw, which is Jimmy Butler.
Wow.
And a really good coach, right? And
Ralphie.
a really good coach. So,
Ralphie.
Sure, yeah.
Ralph, you just have a
Hall
ring
of
deal.
Fame coach. Hall of
Next-
Fame coach.
Next head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, Nick Nurse.
it's even worse.
You're muted, Ralphie.
It's even worse.
Shit,
Thank
he's the
God.
top dog out there.
Oh, sorry. He's back.
Ime Udoka's like, oh my God, I should have waited 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's in Houston.
No, I think eBay is better in Houston. James Harden's going back there apparently. Woj
Him
just
and James
announced
are
it
going to be
yesterday.
they're going to be
Announced it.
bosom buddies out there at the strip clubs together.
Oh, yeah. A lot of adultery.
Say.
strip clubs in the front office.
A lot of adultery hashtags. A lot of those hashtags going to be floating around Houston. Daddy's home. All right, boys. Well, tomorrow night's going to be fun. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 hours. Spin reel. Bijan or most likely bust.
Yes.
I don't know. Give me Joker. I got on what team, Don? On what team? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what, on the Sixers, or just who's better? I mean, at this point in their career, I'll take Joker just because Durant's older. You know what I mean?
Stays healthy too.
But Durant's like obviously career wise.
Durant might be the best player on the planet if he's ever 100% healthy.
Yeah. So I mean, knowing that, I'll take Joker. It's pretty good. You know what I mean? Guy's not bad.
Ime Tuesdays is going to be wild in Houston. Martian says Ime Tuesdays.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, great show, boys. As always, everybody out there, thank you for tuning in and listening to our shit for 2 hours. Hit the like, subscribe. Like I said, stop back tomorrow night. We'll have 3 But two pregame shows going off, and then the round table for the HUD radio NFL draft like we do every year. So and then Jimmy's push off again, still a great shot, but takes a little bit of the mustard off of that one, right? It just doesn't feel as good. Doesn't feel as good with the push off. It's like the Byron Russell MJ. Yeah, I mean, arm got extended.
Oh, that doesn't take anything off of that.
No, the MJ one doesn't. I wasn't sure if it doesn't get one off of either one, right? It's just a joke. I'm exhausted. We've had enough. For Frank Vespi, Cromer, Gregor, Ralphie D, Ryan Brutto, I'm Tom Arnone. We love you. We appreciate you. And we want to thank FanUp for sponsoring tonight's show. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily MLB, NBA contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D for $50 right at sign up. You can download FanUp right on the Apple Store. And what else I got for you? A2Dmerch.com. Go get all your A2D gear. And not just stuff with, A2D plastered all over it. You got a bunch of other stuff over there that you'll like. So go check it out. Let us know what you think. And that's it for the reads because I'm going to go to bed. Love everybody. See you tomorrow for.
See you guys.
Go Birds.
For by the end of the night, that show will probably still be on air.
Bijan.
Go Birds. 10-9.